Meow. Meow, 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 meow. That's my sound test for this morning. Meow. Right. Rabbit seeds. We need them. Always. Always need webbit seeds. What do we got? These give me like 1,000,000. Yeah, that'll do.
The envoy. It brings us a
Hello,
neighbor.
Lady
Then
Verminia.
tell it we are busy.
Yeah, I want to go for the Viking look. I think. Yeah, do that. Excellent.
Your aura
Now we'll
is
change the hair.
showing.
Go silver. That's what we'll do. Is that? Yeah, I think we'll go silver. Silver, silver. Oh, elixir. That's what we need.
Brought us a mixed up.
Dancing boulder. Oh my god. We can actually craft these again? Thank god. And more. Excellent. Just what we need. Coca-Cola. Okay, we got max. Insufficient. Damn it. Alright, need to go get more mushrooms. Again.
Bring us back a morsel next time,
Yeah, we'll see what we can do for you, Verminia. What's up, lady? Looting. Excellent.
Stupid girl. Thick as slag.
She's so hard on herself. Poor Tubalcane.
It sings.
Alright, what have we got for cordstones? So we got 3 lilting. We gotta keep getting those whisperings. Awesome. Let's go say hey to Creepy Baby. Hey, Creepy Baby. Such a creep. Hello, Dark Lord. Okay, chapters are done. Excellent. Cool. Oh, before I do anything, let's do race build. Oh, shoulder. Hey, Wolfie, what's going on? You doing your thing? Being a Wolfie? Actually, you know what? Nah, actually, yes, we will. Race is king at the moment. Arangol. What have we got? 142? Just barely squeezing that extra 1 point of grace. Lovely. Okay. Tunes time. Tunes. What have we got? I would like music. What have we got? Apparently we don't have music playlist. That's unfortunate. Huh. Oh, that's why. Why would it do that? There we go. Awesome. Holy smokes. Sweet God. Oh, wait, YouTube ads. Oh, terrible. Okay. Sweet Lord. Yo. Let's go crazy with the volume. There we go. Feedback's alright. What do we got? Little bit of tunies. Excellent. Alright, there we go. Alright. It should be fan. I assume the volume will be good. Super chill vibes. Smooth radio. Oh my god. Alright. Feedback test. Love this. Oh yeah, there we go. Cool. Lovely. We got nice jams. Oakley dokley. Tunes are ready. I'm slightly ready. With the grace build, let's go smash some stuff. Hello, sir. Goodbye, sir. Goodbye, sir. Goodbye, sir, madam. Nice try, bud. Let's go to... Let's do the Dermac first. I do want to get a bog and myrtle, so nom nom nom. Let's get drunk on Koga. We love Koga. It's delicious. Is that a chest? Oh, it's a book. Nope, chest. Weapon racks. Excellent. Orban drags. Of course we need more cash. Always need cash. So those only drop materials, which is okay. Meow meow meow. Hello. Oh, hello. Do you guys still pop out of the ground or stoned? Aw, they got frozen. Sorry, bud. Law and order. Soulframe style. Why are you hiding behind a tree? Tell me why. Backstreet style. Tell me why. Okie dokie. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Awesome. Come on, Bestone. You can... Actually, you know what? Buff in my Koga. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and goodbye. Nope. See, bud. See ya. See ya. I'll take that. Thank you. Awesome. Hey, doggo. See you, doggo. Loot, loot, loot. Goblin, goblin, goblin. Ooh, we've got mockeries. Alright, we're gonna do a grace boost. Can you please wake up? I wish to test my damage. Thank you. Okay, get over here, creep. Where's the other one? That was silly. No other mockery? Okay. Oh, that was close. I got your attention, though. And yours. And now you're dead. Hopefully, we can get the Bog and Myrtle and a shiny. I think that'd be my 4th shiny, actually. Yeah, it would be. I've got to color like wig. And or a number. Just die. Pretty please. Whisprigs, I need you. Please drop from barrels again. I really need Whisprigs. Wham. It'll happen. What is that? Oh, that's a decent rostrum. Or Needle's Eye, I guess. Rostrum, stock, see you later. Ooh, bug and metal. Oh, it's military though. Ah, that's alright. Gossamer quartz. Sweet. Do. Ah, sweet, we get the sun puzzle. Ooh, double puzzle. My favorite. Excuse me, sir. Law and order. Hey. Beat it. Oh no, Huel's here. Oh no, we're gonna get beaten up by Huel. Hey, chump. Hey, chump. Just wait for the reticle to hit. See you, bud. And that's an okay brushed. Excuse me. Get out of here. Thank you. Unsula. Yeah, that could be good. We'll do that. No lever, secret alleyway, lever time. Who needs a hammer when you've got a lever? Mind you, a hammer would be really cool. Excuse me. Sorry, coming through. Ah! Hell yeah. We get Chesty 1, we get Chesty 2, Patch Leather, Knotwood, and Drax. Lovely. We got a Maestro with Enkindled. Lovely. Jar. Get out of my way. Wait, that's a Basker's Rest from base. That's alright, we can delete that later. Maestro, Noble. Very good Maestro. Wow. Okay. Let's go play with that. I've already got a really good one, but this one seems better. Let me go into the Nightfold. I'm safe. Apparently. Hello? Are you having a spa bath? Oh my god, he got stunned by the clouds. That's hilarious. You right there, bud? That actually does damage to them. No way. Come on. Walk through. Lol. Come on. I could do this all day. Come on. It's the anti-stagger waterfall. Anywho. Alright, let's go check out this Maestro. That was quite a good one. I really hope that my account stacks them though. Okay, sort by name. Maestro. Where is it? This one? Excellent. And then this one here. Okay, so they're essentially the same. But this one's got double rupture. Oof, that's a good one. Rupture quick draw from above cap, selling force, and kindled. So we can build this one, potentially this one too. I'm going to go build this one up slightly, because this one's got a really good rupture, increased shatter and stagger damage. Interesting. So we need to refine. It's a 4 level, I think. Maestro? Indeed. Please give me a very good... God damn it, I need Melodious Chordstone. So I've got 3... Yeah, right. I'll craft it. What's that, 4 hours?
If only Kanye were
Something like
here
that?
to yield you
Yeah,
orders, though.
5, actually. Jesus. Still a very good Maestro, though. So... Still, that one's a really good one for quick draw. Very good for quick draw. Essentially the same. Except I want to test out the rupture on this. So we shall do that. Runes extra. Smite chance is all good. Last, that's fine. We'll do more smite chance. So that's my creation blast. Actually, I'm gonna do bright flash, 6 meters. That's okay. All right, where's the buff virtue? Nah, we don't want that. Unleashing a rune, pull smites around the envoy. That can be good. Smite chance in 28 meters. All right, we're gonna go with Alka's breath, and then we're gonna test out the rupture on this particular bow. Dirty Turk. What's up? I gave myself a Soulframe day. Good morning. I've got my coffee, I've got my water. It's currently 8:14 on AM. So I'm just doing a Koga run, and I picked up a relatively decent Maestro, and it's got a double temper for the rupture. You had a video for me? Oh yeah. Realized I don't have your Discord. Sacrilege. Something to do with skill totem. Green smite stacking. I think I know what you're talking about. Are you talking about co-op play with a skill totem green smite stack? As in your chance to smite, or the Bandicoot blast? Green smite stacking. As in a pull smite mechanic? The power spirit magic attacks immensely in general. So that'd be more based on a spirit build, yeah? I would assume. I was playing a shoulder with grace. But, I mean, even just doing this. I'm thinking pull smites would be very good. He states the colored smites buff. I'm assuming, is that Helen that you're speaking of? Oh, the smite buff totem. Yeah. It definitely boosts your smite output. Where is it? It's your virtue boosting. Drag enemies, yada yada yada. Where are we? It's the noble nestling. Oh, right, okay. Yeah, it's the noble nestling totem I think they're referring to in spirit. Buff virtues by whatever percentile associated with the enemy soul. So, as an example, if I boost that completely into spirit, that will set my virtue base at 44. So any extra buff I get from that is 12% boosted. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Stacking greens with something heavy. Yeah. You could probably run something like Paragon as an example to boost your output. I think you might be talking about Mad Max. He's German. If not, it might be Helen on YouTube. Where are we? Yeah, you can certainly boost the Paragon with a spirit-based joinery. And then when you pull souls, it actually buffs the Paragon sword. But it also, if you get a blue, red, green soul and you fully empower it, you can actually refine it and reforge it. So it depends on like what build you want with it. But the Paragon is very good for that, wherever it is. I'm pretty sure it's under T. There we go. So let's have a look. You can certainly do a grace-based boost. So it will boost your efficiency of a spirit-based Paragon, as an example. And you can freely switch between all three virtues if you really want to. You could certainly put it on like a grace-based build, but as an example, magic damage output with a flame-based, like Everflame as an example, will absolutely boost the crap out of damage for this one. So at base it'll do 226 damage, but then you scale it with Spirit, fully scale it to Spirit, pull the soul, you'll get double buffs from that. You can also do your buff potion as well, so that'll inherently boost its damage output even further with the scaling. And then you could probably even do it with like a mage caster weapon as well. So pulling souls with a Paragon gives you an enhanced virtue boost, but a little bit more damage depending on what you've scaled it with as well. Hello. But yeah, you can certainly just output, no problem. Even if it's a Spirit Greatsword, you've got a really good healthy amount of base at it as well. Yeah, you can certainly enhance like a caster build, absolutely, with Paragon. It's very good. And with the Everflame at max rank at 250% flame damage, yeah, you can definitely wipe bosses, no problem. The boosting potions are super good at doing that for you. Where do we go? Assume it's sneaking through here. Yeah. But yeah, you can certainly run around with a greatsword. If you're a Paragon founder, you've definitely got access to it. But as an example, like just stone this dude. If you aim for the head, that's what you can do with a spirit casted, boosted Paragon scaling greatsword. Just an absolute one hit. No problem. And that's also enhancing from Everflame as well, which is great. Little bit of a trick on that one, somehow. It's maintaining my rune charge. So it's actually, if I rune charge or boost the amount of rune charges that I have, it's actually almost giving me, like even in solo play, infinite rune charge. So bit of an exploit, I would say, on that one. So it's definitely something I'll have to clip and send in. It's not something I choose to do regularly, but that's definitely bugged from what I can see. But yes, you most certainly can take advantage. Where is it? I don't want to do edit stream. I just want to. I want to note that. Why is everything changed up today? Apparently my setup doesn't want to work for me today. Everything's changed around. We love that. Okay, there we go. What? Add marker. But I want to add with description. Oh, there we go. Cool. But yes, there's certainly things that you can do in game that just allow you to do stupendous amounts of damage. Spirit boosted, rune, Paragon, no rune, charge, taken. So yes, you can basically do that. It's probably a bug at the moment, but essentially that's how you do so much stupidly powerful damage, because of the way that Spirit scales with magic damage. Magic damage inherently based on like actual magical attacks and effects. You can certainly get an absolute crap ton of damage output with magical weapons. So inherently with Paragon, you're using the Everflame rune. I mean, we can even do it on Treefell as well. But the fact that it boosts your magic damage from the rune itself that applies and stacks with the actual spirit scaling of the virtue spirit, but it also takes advantage of the magical flame damage. And at max rank 3, it gives you 250% flame damage on top of your base attack of the weapon, and then you put a spirit joinery on top of your weapon, and then you've maxed your virtue out. So basically the virtue prism saying, hey, this weapon can now do extra scaling damage with spirit. Spirit likes magic. Everflame's a magic rune. It applies its damage on top, and basically you can get a one-shot build with a greatsword. And very good with her shoulder, as an example. You can certainly do the same thing with, say, like Duello, as an example. And you've also got bleed damage on top of that too. So we'll switch over to that one. And you most certainly could do an absolute crapload of damage with this one as well. So, Grace, awesome. We'll switch over to a spirit build Duello. Let's do Orlix set, I think. Massive damage boost. Absolutely stupendous. So, let's do Duello. You also have a massive efficiency of like virtue boost with Bravada because of like your virtue setting. Also boosting your virtues, Ola Parolo. It also adds bleed damage on top of that, but you've got a much better scaling now because of the way that we've introduced Spirit to this particular build. So essentially, you're going to get a really, really good effect with that as well. Where is the Paragon? I really, really, really would like to see a quality of life of being able to do like a name filter, or at least like weapon grip type as well. I think that'd be really nice. So we've got a spirit-based Paragon. We've done a full spirit build with Duello. We'll refresh. We've got all of our stats. They're showing correctly. We've got really, really good scaling with Spirit, Orlix Armour, and then we've got the +6 Totem as well. So now that we've got Duello set to a Spirit cast build, every time that I boost my Bravada, you'll have no problem, basically. As long as the Bravada is active, it will stay active a lot longer, which is nice. You can also pre-boost it with your Duello, and you'll be able to throw and kill, no problem. It's not going to do as much damage just by that, but you will be able to hit enemies for like 1300 damage, no problem, because of the way that the virtues are interacting and boosting your magic damage output. So that's what it's based on. It's not based on physical, it's based on your magical scaling, essentially. Susan, get back here. Hey, hey, hey. Don't ignore me. Susan. And we've got Bell Divers. Excellent. Still a very powerful build, but we'll be able to boost our virtue up even further. These weapons, physically, they're not going to do as much damage. You're not going to lose anything by running a spirit build, but you most certainly will take advantage of the way that the magic is being boosted by your Envoy as well. So the more souls that I pull, the more output damage I'm going to scale with because of the magic based attacks that I have. So I'm doing 1400, 1400. So that's how a spirit based build is going to take advantage of all of your boosts and buffs that you've got happening at the moment. Very powerful. So yes, spirit may be like a glassish cannon basically, but you can absolutely shit out damage on top of most of the magical variances that you have if you've set up the Envoy in the right way to do so. It's very fun. And I mean, Paragon is very good at doing that, especially with having a spirit class joinery on top of this weapon. Yes, you'll have a good amount of damage output from the weapon level itself. So weapons have their own like experience base of damage, but you can certainly overlay different virtue damage types like magic to enhance its output at base as well. Excuse me, that was rude. We shot some boxes. Amazing. But we've also got really good cooldowns too, so you can certainly just smack the crap out of things, no problem. And you can keep buffing your virtues too, so once you keep doing that, you are shooting out damage everywhere. Like, very, very much. Your voice is so deep. Hello, Sammy. Nice to see you. Yeah. You can crap out damage with a spirit build. No problem. It's very good. So, if you want to just smack an enemy and they, like, just die, then this particular type of spirit build is going to be very effective. Very much so. Odiak. It's okay. We'll take care of that. But Bravado is very good at enhancing any virtue that you set it to. So whatever highest virtue that you have, your Duello is going to boost that, like, exponentially. I don't have the exact numbers on it, but clearly just by pulling smites and having the right kind of totem setup, you're going to be able to absorb so much more boosted damage efficiency through your totem setups, your virtues, your journeries, scaling with spirit, and then putting buff potions and extra buffs from your Omen Beast as well. I've got like the virtue boost, which gives me 5 points for each virtue from, I think it was Verminia. So if you pick up the virtues boosting pack, that's inherently going to raise your base virtues by 5, but you can't see them anywhere else but on the actual weapon when you're in your inventory screen. So I'll show you what it can do to Mr. Dimrod. Hey, bud. Nope. That's what Bravado can do on a spirit build. If I did that on a grace-based build, he'd be dead. Like in one shot, basically. But extremely effective with Everflame Rune on a greatsword. Very, very good. And we'll get rid of that. I don't really like Elbrak. It's nice, but it's not my favorite looking weapon. Long swords for me, yeah, they're okay. But yeah, that's just one build that you can boost out with the Paragon. So basically, rule of thumb, most classes that you want to build into, you can certainly balance, especially Duello, to a very like perfected balanced setup. Basically, if you have the Triune Talisman or the Paragon Parapet, you can certainly rebalance your Prism to essentially perfect stats, essentially, which is like 21, 21, 21, I'm pretty sure. There we go. So if you perfect your build into Paragon, this will allow you to utilize any build in the game, basically. But that will also balance out all of your cooldowns on all of your abilities for the Pact. But if you really want to enhance something, Duello and the Olo Parolo on your Grace build, if you maximize that, it will one-shot, basically. Because of the Grace scaling, it's very good. Very, very good. It's very strong. It's very powerful. It does boost out your bleed damage application from the passive. So if I switch completely over to Grace as an example, and I've got the +6 totem or talisman, if I cast this, this is going to last the longest. It's the same rule of thumb. If you have a maximum spirit, you get maximum duration out of this ability and maximum duration out of a courage build. The courage build on Duello is very good. The flintlock can actually pump out damage, but the way that Grace operates with headshot multipliers, the higher scaling you have with Grace, and you have a bow as an example, this one purely scales with Grace. The more pips you have of your joinery, basically says to that weapon, hey, my virtues are saying you've got 45 points here. I really want to use more like better scaling and damage output. So your base damage will be affected by the virtues to a certain point, but the joineries allow the Envoy to access even higher numbers through the virtue system. So the higher you pump your virtues and the armor and the talismans that you wear, the higher damage output you're going to be doing with a particular ability with a pact. So it's definitely useful to go through and understand how the different elements of different packs work. Orangul is an extremely good user of how it's very good at increasing grace. It's increasing smite chance output, basically. So if I run a grace-based build with Orangul, it's extremely good. Reason being is because it takes advantage of all of these points in here. If I boost out Soulbound, the more wolves you have and its melee damage increased, this is a very good courage-based setup as well. But I can also run a grace-based build to be able to affect Howl on these actual pack hunters as well. So it's probably beneficial to run something like a half-scaled grace build. But if you want to maximize the amount of wolves that you have, you want to maximize your spirit output. Boosting that with buffs, etc., that will actually help you quite a lot. 44 spirit, you can pretty much pump it to about 40, inherently dependent on your account level. But basically, I can run around with 4 wolves. I can run any sort of weapon that meets the requirement setup that I have. So luckily, most bows are relatively low requirement for grace. I think Avex is probably the highest at 11 grace and 13 courage. But if I'm running my buff potions, I supersede those particular numbers because on your weapon, you can see that the virtue requirement is at 23 points that I have out of 7, which isn't necessarily true because I've got buffs active as well. So you won't see them reflected in your virtue, unfortunately, but you will see them active on your weapon. So let's go take Orangul for a spin. I am going to reset Orangul because I don't really need her to keep on showing up all the time. She steals all my kills. She's a bitch, but I love her for it. She's very good. So my recommendation on this sort of setup, Soulbound, absolutely pump that. Put all of your points into the 3 top skill trees for Mora's Pride, Eris's Favor, and Sabine's Gift. You absolutely want to take advantage of the amount of points that you have for your virtues, because the virtue points that you have is what inherently tells the Envoy to do more damage, because your weapon is actually the Envoy. Weapons are just a nice extension of what the actual Envoy and Prism system does in the game, so it's pretty cool. Inherently, what I would probably do, I'd just put 1 point into Feral just to see if Orangul shows up, like minimally at best, and just a little bit of defense against Dagger. It's not really going to do much at these sorts of points, but absolutely maximize these on 90% of your packs, because these particular points at the moment, I don't really know if they actually operate very well. Wingspan is just more time to fly back to your body, and Physic, if you really aren't too worried on how many potions or life elixirs that you're running, basically like on any sort of healing packs like Tethrin, Oshelda, basically, you'll be fine. You don't really need the healing as that much. And also Bromius can just Song of Growth and live through anything. Tethrin can just suck energy and life from enemies, as can Pulse Mites, the Totems. There's Tempers that allow you to restore your health as well, so you're pretty well sorted out there. Duello could just crap out damage anytime, anywhere, basically. Hand of Mora is still like good. It's more of like a courage-based pact. Ode Tempest is a little bit more of a like flashy kind of like stagger everything and just cause chaos. It's actually quite good. I think the healing on Garen Root at the moment for Torment, I'm not really sure how much health it's actually stealing back. I don't think it is. It's a percentile healing mechanic. So it hits harder on the very first hit. So if you hit a headshot with a grace-based build, you basically heal yourself fully, essentially. Well, that's the concept idea of it. But essentially it does punch damage back at the enemy. So it's kind of like, if you think about it in terms of like Necros's like Soul Punch in Warframe, it's essentially the same thing. It's supposed to give you health back, but it's not really doing that at the moment. But we can have a bit of a play with that. Uno momento. I'm just going to switch armor, just so I've got a relatively decent amount of armor with the spirit build, and then I'll show you what the spirit-based Orangul could do. You can use it with like a caster weapon if you want. Basically, rule of thumb, just use any weapon that's gonna, you know, crap out damage, basically. Because we're in Koga, unfortunately, I cannot run and use a tree. Oh no, we've got a Bell Diver? That's okay. Casting of Spirit Wolves, you've got very good buffs with Orangol. Even in Koga, as long as you've got the Spirit Boosting Potion, so you can see how quickly the Spirit Wolves can be summoned really, really quickly. It's very comparable to a Shelter in the way that if you have a higher Spirit, it will reduce your cooldown reduction. But Pool Smites also give you the same capacity as well. Don't run away from me. I want you to die. Alright, Wolfies. Attack. If you enhance the wolves with Howl, just stand back and let them do the work. Or just let Orangol just jump in and kill them and eat them. Just keep on summoning wolves. The blue buffed empowered wolves will do a lot more damage. And as you can see, we're up against like level 50s. Very, very strong pack. That's what they're for. And they will absolutely eat enemies. Armour isn't really that great with a spirit build, but it really just depends on what you want to do and how you want to affect something. But the Wolfies definitely do a relatively decent job on like protecting and like just attacking enemies. It's decent. Like, yes, it can be refined, but it's relatively good. Eat her. Eat them. Good, Wolfie. And they do have a little bit of bleed damage as well, so they can affect a little bit of slash damage on enemies, and that will chew away their health a little bit. They're not super aggressive, but it would be kind of unfair if they were. But we can absolutely take like a casting build as well. So yeah, you can see they can affect a little bit of bleed damage, which is not too bad. So you only use skills after the right color is pulled. I mean, you can pull souls at any moment, basically. Essentially what I look for is like green and blue souls. You can most certainly put like a healing totem or healing totem on, say, like your secondary weapon if you want. If it's like the stackable like 200 plus points of health on a pull smite, you will be able to re-heal yourself, no problem. But if you're lucky with the amount of different tempers on your weapon, say if you get like the healing on death of an enemy, basically you'll be fine. Essentially, you can make like a very survivable build out of Armour, that's for sure. Can I go back in the Nightboard? Thanks, Wolfies. Come on. Oh, I'm near Metaskyne's tower. That's why. Unfortunate. Alright, let's go for a run. Come on, Wolfie. Let's go. The wolves can't really scale much of the terrain just yet, unfortunately. And if you get hit outside of your body in wolf form, it'll just teleport you back to the Envoy's body. Ah, you little asshole townsperson. I hate you. I wish I could kill you. Hello. Trading not working again? Texter. In what fashion is it not working? I can't help on trading. I don't have access to the dev build. I'm not a dev. I wish I could help, but I cannot. Everyone knows someone. I swear. Is ours. Indeed. Now we can go back to the Nightfold. I mean, you can take whatever, like, caster, like, secondary that you want. But I would highly recommend taking something like the Buffing Virtue for Orangol. Absolutely. Restoration of life per second is useful. I would probably put this more on, say, like a flit smoke build, because it'll help you heal while you're invisible. So probably a better rule of thumb is the... not the draft dam. Is it Servid Wood? No, it's the Double Dredge. Restoration of life on Pull Smite. Because we're running a spirit build, you're literally pulling souls for 445 health per Pull Smite. So we've got half health at the moment. So if I can increase my smite output, which I can with Orangol, basically I'll be able to heal myself most times. And I'll be able to survive. So armor is kind of really not an issue as long as I'm healing myself and summoning wolves. So there we got a full smite, and I've got a full heal. Thanks, guys. And magic aimed at the head will just shit out damage really nicely. I don't really have another word for that to not swear, so I don't know. I don't really know what to say. I can say fuck. It's seal in French. But that's essentially how I'd be running something like an Orangol build, basically. I'm doing all of this, it's basically like Twitch builds for you guys. I should be just slapping this on YouTube, in all honesty. Not the most pretty looking video, I know that, but the information is sensational, if I do say so myself. Alright, Wolfie time. Hello, Wazzy. Anytime now. I think the wolves have a slightly difficult time trying to take on the wizard. He does track you as well, so if you try to jump just before he throws that horizontal attack, you'll generally be fine. Of course you want to be Manyaki Pauk. These guys can give you some pretty good smites though. So essentially, like, the more wolves you have, like the more smites with Howl, you'll be able to take advantage of. Probably better on like a semi kind of grace build though. But you can definitely see, like, the wolves will take care of you. And you can play tennis with the wizard too. It's pretty great. But just be mindful of his attacks. Being a spirit build, you're going to be a lot more susceptible to his attacks too, which is interesting considering it's a spirit build. But you can reflect his projectiles back at him too. But you can also punch out damage to him too. And using Alka's Breath is beneficial. But I've got the Torrent Rune on, unfortunately. Thanks, Orango. Eat that spider. And we get a nice little smite back, restoration of rune. We get slowed, we'll summon another Wolfie, and we're good. And attack. Eat him. But very effective build nonetheless. It's not a one-shot build, but it's just a different build variation. It's just a different kind of playstyle, essentially. But if you do have Alka's Breath attached to your bow, you will have a much better efficiency of magic damage being applied at 150%. Very, very good. Let's have a look. Restoration Pulse Mode? Nah. I mean, we could do that, and we could also do the Spreading Sploot as well. But because I've got that in Spirit, and I want to run a Spirit build with Orangol, I can just boost rune damage by 23% plus 150 on top of the base weapon attack, which is great. If I really want to, I can do Restoration of Life, but for efficiency's purpose, I could do attack speed, I could do Bright Flash, so I can just do Stagger and Blast and Blinding on my main attacks, but then I've got Smite Blast on here, Restoration of Life, and I can buff my virtues on any pull smite, also doing rune 23% additional damage on top of the 200% of Arcanic for the Alkstorm rune, sorry. I mean, there's plenty of options, really. I mean, even on the secondary setup, I can increase attack speed, and then I could boost the efficiency, essentially, of my light attacks. I think it can work on your base heavies as well, which is nice. So just take into consideration 175 like attack damage. Charged is 318, so that's double your base attack. You've got 200% magical damage added to your weapon, plus you've got 23%, plus the Estelle has the Aftershock, which has a chance to add arcanic damage on hit, and you've also got dual cast, which is for a second projectile to be casted. So on this sort of build, you certainly have a lot of different tools at your disposal, just completely annihilating damage out. Oh well, we got a legendary grin. Why, thank you. I am very happy with that. I can delete all the other grins now. Thanks, Wazid. Let's go see if that hopefully saved in my account. If it doesn't, I'm going to be upset. Not really. Thank fuck it did. Okay. Bro Bear, what's going on? Welcome. Hello. You guys just caught me on the sly, did you? Welcome in, Raiders and Bro Bear. Thanks for the raid. Hello. How was the run with Soulframe? I can showcase you the Orangol Spirit build if you would like. Oh no, ads? Unfortunate. Alright. We can wait for the ads. We love ads. It's just what we love. I had a feeling that you were sneaky and Sammy for this. Nah, it's all good. But welcome. I'm Smooth Operator. I'm an avid Soulframe player and content creator. I've just been playing around with an Orangol Spirit build. So I can basically walk you guys through what the Spirit builds can look like in-game. I know that Bro Bear is a very avid Spirit user, so I can take you through and show you how the whole entire build works. It's extremely good. It's really, really fun. I've got a few different Spirit builds to show you as well, so you can adapt them pretty much. It is a little bit specific on certain things, but I can certainly walk you through it. Jordan, thank you very much for the follow. Very nice of you. I just took on the Wazid in Koga solo mode, and I actually just picked up the Grin, which is a legendary drop. I just wanted to make sure that it actually saved, thank Christ. So basically, I can delete every other Grin now, because this is legendary. Relatively pretty happy with that. I would probably say, in the essence of running Koga and solo play in-game, it's really up to you, in all honesty, but I generally like being able to run solo because it gives me efficient drops, i.e. Moonsteals, which is basically a purely cosmetic effect on the weapon, and you can see the Moonsteel up the top left, which is a very rare drop considering it's Ducalic. I've gotten a few other shinies as well. I got a Lightweight yesterday or the day before, and I'm focusing in on the Bog and Myrtle shiny too, but I also have been lucky enough to get a Oran Umber shiny as well, so very cool. The shinies are really, really nice, to be honest. I have to manage my inventory space as well, so it's not super great having to run through and melt all these down, but it's a good return because you get base materials from breaking down any weapon that's a 2-star, basically. There are certain weapons I'm maintaining and keeping, mostly just because I've been playing since Preludes 8, and I don't really want to lose the historical value to some of them. One of them being this original Odiak. It's Nomain found in 925, which was last year, which is like November. It's just a fancy schmancy name domain for November. So I'm looking at potentially building this, but it's one of my original ODACs. So I do have a gray-space joinery on this one, and I can explain why. But basically, just to run you through a build that I was just showing Chad just before you guys read it in. It's based on Spirit. It is based on an Orangor setup with Orlix Armour, which is a Virtue Spirit base, with the +6 Totem of Spirit as well. So it gives me a full 44 Spirit build, but that is also taking advantage of all 3 stat boosts to the Virtues for these 3. And I'm also boosting Soulbound. Melee damage increases when allies are in range, can stack. Basically what this is saying, and because I'm running a Spirit build, is that I can summon up to 4 wolves and I can cast Howl. It boosts their grace and chance of smite output for me, but it actually boosts the damage output to the pack hunters. So inherently, this is like a summoner's build. I am running a grace-based Starling. I don't necessarily need to because I don't really have a lot of grace, which is okay. So I can actually switch that over to something like a caster staff if I want to. My reasoning behind using the Starling bow, and because it's grace, is because of the way that grace scales. It takes advantage of headshot multipliers and unawareness factors on enemies. So if they can't see you, you actually do a lot more damage. I've also got the Totem in the Juklara, which gives me 23% at max rank 3 for 23% additional damage. That is inherently layered up on top of the Alka's Breath rune, which is an arcanic damage boost of 150% magic damage. So Spirit likes magic. This also likes Spirit, so I'm going to be crapping out damage, basically. I've also obtained the Spreading Sploot at max rank 3 for extra smite damage chance on enemies. So basically, I'm going to show you how the build works. Blinding Bite is just bright flashes for smite, but also the Bandicoot Blast for smite blasting and stagger output at 308 stagger damage to nearby enemies. This is a very effective build as a summoning Spirit caster build, or Spirit user build. I'm basically making the wolves do all the work. On my secondary build, I am using the Arcanic or Arcstorm rune for Arcanic damage at 200% on top of the base format of the weapon that I'm using, plus the 23% additional output as well. Third Shiny was acquired. Nice, goody goods. Hello, how are you? A Witch and a Spirit Wolf familiars? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Orangor is very good at what she does. I think leveling packs is fundamentally important for every single pact, because once you get rank 30 or bond with your pact and rank 30 with your weaponry, that's when the damage really starts showing through. You've got a quick draw, or I choose to increase the attack speed by 25% when I pull smite, and restoration, the double dredge. This will restore me on any pull smite from any enemy. So any color soul, I will get maximum healing back, basically. I also use the Noble Nestling. This is a buffing of virtues to enemy souls when I pull smite. That boosts my virtue output, or my virtue buff, basically. And I've also got buffs applicable to my Envoy at the moment in Koga. So those 3 buff potions I've mentioned before, use them. They're very powerful. The Estelle is specific. I'm choosing because of the Aftershock Arcanic temper that is available onto Fakin origin weapons, but the dual casting of a chance for second projectile to be produced on Estelle, so inherently working alongside the quick draw for extra attack speed. I'm basically pumping out almost 4 hits per shot, basically. I don't have a lot of health, granted, but that doesn't really matter. Orangor doesn't care, because if I'm restoring my health with the double dredge, you'll be fine. So I'll take you guys through a bit of a spin with Orangor, and I'll show you what I'm doing, basically. So you can see that I've got like a half health bar at the moment. I've got full buffs available to me from these 3 potions. I can use these if I want to, but I also have the virtue buff, which is the bottom, or like very left little triquetra of the virtues. That's from one of the ancestors that I pulled the buff from. It only gives you 5 points of buff virtue, and that doesn't reflect over on your virtue tree, unfortunately. So you won't see those points available here. But if you come down to your weapon, you can see the virtue requirement stat, it says I've got 23 points available to me out of 7, which is the virtue requirement of the actual weapon. So any numbers before that slash is basically saying, hey, you've got buffs available to you. So you can see here, I've only got at base 8 points of grace. So those buff potions will inherently boost my damage output. With the virtue buff that I've got from the ancestor, but also the potion that I have 59 points of spirit. So basically, if I can get one more little buff, it'll basically push me over a cap of 60 for magic damage output. So as a caster, I can crap out damage because of the amount of like available tools that I have to extra arcanic damage output on top of the base attack variance on the weapon that I have. So I'm doing roughly 175. I can do a charge attack at full, it's 318, so double that essentially if I'm playing with spirit. So Dewclaw doesn't work. I don't know if that's true. With the actual runes dealing additional damage? Let's just put arcanic now. I don't think the Dewclaw is not working. Sevi, hello. Bonsoir. Comment ça va? Maybe we'll see. Is there a nice little animal for us to kill here? Unfortunately not. No. I don't think that's true. I'm pretty confident the Dewclaw is active. Alright, Wolfie. I need your help. I need your help. It's not a huge boost with the Dewclaw anyway, because I'm not really running a lot of courage. But as far as I've seen, Dewclaw, it's hard to kind of tell if it's actually adding that extra 23%. I'm not going to sit and like test on a box, basically. That's not how I run. I like to see active damage output. Granted, like I'm not a number cruncher like that either, so if it's not working, it's not going to matter to me. Basically, that's just one element. If that's not working, I've got plenty of other options that are going to work. So I haven't really used anything else other than Dewclaw. It would be nice if we can get actual fact on that, but I haven't actually sat there and like shot a box to see if a rune's activating, because it's not actually going to work on a box, unfortunately, as far as I've seen. But I'm pretty sure Dewclaw is fine either way. Like, you'll get some sort of base damage output, but percentile based, I can't really guarantee it because I'm not using a courage based build anyway. I'm using more spirit. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Dewclaw is fine. So I know how quickly things change in the game, so granted, something gets posted, things change pretty quickly. So the fixes for certain things in the game like pretty much happen, I'm going to say roughly within like a 24 to 48 hour turnaround on certain things. If it's not fully active or acting as appropriately, it's not going to need an actual patch to fix that. They can pretty much just kind of hotfix it quietly in the background, and then you'll notice the damage output once you start using it. I haven't seen any issues with Dewclaw, to be honest. Not from what I've tested anyway. Let's go see what we got available to us. We'll go smash up the king. I'll show you how Orangul can actually operate in that sense. As far as like my build's concerned, the Dewclaw isn't really going to be like detracting from the power output, basically. The Eminix. Hello. Welcome. Thank you for the raid. That's dope. How does that go? Were you guys playing Soulframe as well? We're just showcasing a little bit of an Orangol spirit build for everyone. It's pretty fun. Well, welcome. I'm Smooth Operator, an absolute avid fan of Soulframe. What were you guys doing in Soulframe? How many Wolfies do we have? Okay, we got 4 Wolfies. Excellent. Patricia, Patrick, Peter, and Penelope. That's what I call my wolves. Alright, so let's empower them, and let's rain hell. Alka's Breath is exceptional. The magic arcanic output you can get. We can actually have 5 wolves, technically, with Orangol. And we can just rain hail of hell. So... oh no! Is my healing totem broken? Oh, that sucks. Oh, maybe it's just on my weapon. Ah. I'll have to try that with Estelle and just double check that now. Ah, cheeky. It worked before. Why is it not working now? Totem's making me lie. Let's see if we can get the smite output on this dude. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so it's weapon specific, unfortunately. I can easily switch that though. Just checking out some Soulframe. Nice. Still pretty early days, indeed. Working on getting your main quest done. Excellent. Which ones are you up to? Oh, you're doing Orlix quest. They're very valuable. I would highly recommend doing them. Once you finish them, you should have access to his full entire kit. The Pensive's Cloak, the Pensive's Bonnet, and the Pensive's Pantaloons. I would say tab over on this item and look at the bottom. It says one wonders what secrets may be unveiled to its wearer. I'll say this, if you wear this particular set in the Robgot Ruins, it's going to show you something. If you want me to tell you, I can. I'm not going to gatekeep information. There's no point. I'd rather share information actively than just be like, ooh, I've got something for you. I can tell you if you want, so just let me know if you want me to tell you and I can. Nuts. Restoration, it has to be on the actual weapon? Damn it. Oh well. Actually, you know what? We're going to drag enemies to us because that's actually quite fun on Pulse Smites. Create Bright Flash. Alright. Let's see. Where is my healing totem? Restoration on Pulse Smite. There we go. Very, very cool. So it does have to be specific on your weapon that you're utilizing for a Pulse Smite that activates it. I was hoping that it was going to translate to both. Unfortunately, it doesn't. Every time that you do go into the Nightfall, though, unfortunately, Wolfies get wiped. Unfortunately. But inherently, like, tempers are basically what allow you to get more smites too. So if you get a pretty decent, like, smite chance talisman or totem, you should be in a pretty good effect, which is nice. Arrows are definitely good for, like, group settings, basically. So if you've got tons of enemies and you've got a whole bunch of smites happening, you're pretty good. So this is where your elixirs do come into effect for healing. Essentially. But as a spirit user, even in Koga, you're pumping out damage with spirit, like, insanely. These guys are like level 60-ish, so not too shabby, if you ask me. Spirit does need a bit of help in its arrow bases, though, too. So there we go. We got a full heal on this banneret, and Orangol still shows up, like, really frequently, even with 1 point. So I don't know if she actually adds courage-based damage through the passive of Orangol's Pact, but it is extremely effective. Weapon racks also have seen some people saying, oh, they don't drop anything. That's not true. They do. They do drop scrap materials at least, which is beneficial for crafting. Which is something I did want to touch base on. I know a few people have said, oh, I don't really want to have to use a certain weapon to raise account level. I do understand that point, and it does suck. But that's inherently how the systems are built for, like, return of reward in the game. I'm a level 18, almost 19. So when you're leveling weaponry, basically, it's good to get your very first weapon for that particular like weapon type ranked up to max 30, and you don't have to look at it again. So there is a bit of a time investment, I do understand, in leveling weaponry, but it's very beneficial to you because the more points that you have or experience that you gain overall account level, the more points that you have in virtue systems. There may be potential tweakings to that later in, like, down the line in the development of the game. But the Envoy rank, it will tell you increasing rank will award 1 virtue point, and that is per virtue. You do have options available to you through some of the fables to increase your virtues. The She-Wolf Snared with Orangul, she will give you 3 options. I believe Verminia potentially, but that's mostly through the Wastebear quest. So when you have those 3 options come through with the Grace, Courage, and Spirit selections, it will inherently reward you with 1 point of that virtue. But essentially, all accounts basically at the same level will have essentially the same amount of virtue points available to you. When's Wild Orangul? I have no idea, and when it comes out, I'll be ecstatic for it. I kind of hope, basically, it'll be Garen Reed first, so I have a feeling what's going to happen with the roster of the packs. Because we've got a corrupted pact, though, I'm far more interested in to see how that particular Vesper system is going to operate, rather than seeing, like, another wild variant. So I'm really glad that they switched it up and brought in the corrupt pack, the Vadagar. It looks amazing. I think the corrupt Mendicant Sword Coiled Dawn as well looks sensational. Really, really excited to use like Araxi's Stampede or whatever it's called. It looks really, really cool. So you gonna rest? Yeah, no problem. I do understand it's, you know, it's a lot when you've done a big long stream and then you've got to rest. So I definitely get that. And thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much for the raid as well, Emrex. That was awesome. Yeah, I'm really glad that we got the Vadagar Pact. It looks great. I'm kind of hoping that we get Mum's Pact, like Mother's, I don't know what they'd call it. If it's a Vadagar Pact for Corrupt, I would hope that we get like Mother's Song or something like that. Like lore-based, I think name would be pretty cool. Let's go kill some stuff. But hopefully, we get to see it earlier in fall-ish, whenever that is, with the Vadagar Pact. I think that'll be amazing, to be honest. Hello. See, bud. These healers are absolutely sensational. Why, thank you. You can use the first ability to reposition yourself if you really want to. It's not the best, but I generally boost and utilize both my second and third abilities extremely regularly with Orangul. She's very fun. Everything that could go wrong with trading did go wrong. Oh, well, I mean, that's part of being part of a alpha testing ground, basically. We're here to test basically what's going to work and what's not. Have you put feedback in for the trading? And was that done solo, Tegster, or is that being done in co-op? Today was special. Indeed it was. Was it done in solo mode when you were trading? Did you have anyone else in your party? I feel like co-op is like working, but it's relatively janky depending on what you're doing in co-op. I'd probably say with like the trading systems, it's still like a really new system too, so it's going to take time to flesh it out. This trade only squad. So you guys were inviting each other to the squad. Is that correct? If you think about it, like you're actually trading like overseas to overseas kind of thing. Even if you're like trading solo. Yeah, I've met Emmerich. They're amazing. Very lovely. Not being in squad might help. Yeah, I would say most things I've done in Soulframe, I generally do solo. It just gives me a lot more stability, so like the pings aren't competing basically. Oh really? Oh, that's so nice. That's very cool. I hope to be at TennoCon next year. It's not really a hope, it's more of a I want to be. It's my goal. Meeting Reb and the team earlier this year in January was awesome. I kind of like snuck into Tenno VIP. I did ask them before, but I got to hang out with Reb and she did a shoey and I said, how was that? And she's like, that was disgusting. I'm like, yeah, that's shoeys. It's gross. Good on her for doing it though. But yeah, I got to meet Reb and the team for Tenno VIP this year. It was really cool. They're just as amazing like on screen as they are in like real life too. Like they are just so down to earth and so welcoming. So yeah, I want to go give her a hug and say hi next year and to the rest of the team too. So yeah, I've got to do something to, I don't know, gift them with something merch wise. I'm trying to figure out what. So if you guys have got some ideas, like we can make a list and I can see what I can get out for the whole team. So I'm planning with Helix Rook as well. So she's dogged me this year and she's like, you need to be there next year. I'm like, okay, I'll try. She's like, no trying, you will. I'm like, okay, get bossy, that's fine. Oh no, oh Sulkin, we don't like you, you're rude. You can fling flames at me all you want, that's fine, but I'll give you Patricia instead. Go Patricia, I choose you. I also roll around a lot, and that's basically just to minimize the amount of... I was hoping that rolling would minimize the amount of flame damage that we take. It doesn't. I just pretend it does. Much like Elden Ring. I hope that that actually is the case, though. You know, you do like 3 rolls, and you can remove a whole bunch of flame damage from yourself. That would be nice. Come on, Patricia. Penelope, get out here. I need your help. Get rid of these dogs. Also... Orangor's Howl mind controls the Ode dogs. So if they're glowing blue, technically what they should be doing is attacking the enemy as well, which is quite good. So as you can see, it'll probably last for about 10 seconds, and then they break their mind control and then get out of it, but very useful. And you can actually also mind control, I think it's an Agari boss. It's one of the dogs. It's called the Reaper. You can actually use Orangor against it, and you can do damage to it while it's mind controlled. So there's another cheeky bit of mechanics that you can take advantage of too. But these dogs are very powerful. If you keep on boosting your Grace ability, they will pop damage out to enemies as well. And they can take down Agari bosses too. So basically this build is not really a jump into an enemy's face. It is more based on long range and letting these dogs do the work for you. So if you lock onto an enemy with aim sight or block key, you can see that they will take them out pretty well. So they are your damage to a degree, but you certainly have an absolute crap ton of damage output with your totem systems, your packs, the way that you've set yourself up for success, your buff potions, your virtue boosts from your omen beasts, and also the little Ode idols also give you a 5-point buff as well. So they will push you over soft cap limits of damage outputs basically too. Very, very good to utilize all of these sorts of tools in the game because you can actually pop out a lot of damage. So that's Orangor's spirit build essentially in a nutshell for you. So if you were kind of concerned about how well Orangor can operate, don't worry, she works extremely well. We were playing around with an Oshelda build as well, so I'll test that one out for you guys as well. I do have the Wilder Shelda or Paragon pack as well. This is what the base pact and the weapon of Wilder Shelda, both at rank 30, can look like. You have a full 60 points, so you can take absolute advantage of Tendril, which stops movement for enemies for a small amount of time. Vernal Pool basically recharges your Arcanics almost instantly, and that's unique to Oshelda. We were using the Paragon Greatsword as well, so I'll show you a specific build that I put together. It doesn't have to necessarily stay specific to Paragon, but for purposes of this it does, because this particular weapon attunes with all 3 virtues I put a spirit-based 3-point Iridus's Blessed Joinery onto this weapon, so it scales better with spirit. It is a very, very fun build. You can crap out damage with the Everflame rune for greatswords. 250% flame damage. I do have the Dewclaw additional. If it works, great. If it doesn't, it's irrelevant. Pulse Smites, doing enemy explosions is really, really nice. Pulse Smites, damage around the Envoy, and then reduce the rune drain would be useful more so on Treefell. So we can actually test this one, and I can show you the difference between Treefell, but I can also show you the difference between Everflame. Essentially, this is 250% flame damage. So that basically boosts all of that damage up on top of the base kit of damage output for the Paragon at 236. On a heavy attack, it's 532. So it can basically one-shot bosses as well. Your vote will be reduced grind. Everyone's saying reduce grind. I think just to clearly air on the way that the game is developed is based on time investment versus reward. I think a lot of people are saying I'm spending too much time doing X, Y, and Z. It's really up to you how much time you want to invest in the game. It's a free-to-play title. There are ways that you can basically purchase things in game if you want to with arcs. If you don't wish to do that, that is your choice. I think when it comes to reducing the grind, that is going to happen in time. Because it's being a developing title, there are going to be sticking points, because what's being developed behind the scenes while we play is different to our expectation of what is in the game at the moment. So I just want to cover that just lightly with everyone, just to make it really clear on my perspective. Being part of the title, I've seen a lot of people saying, I hate grind, I hate grind. If you don't want to grind, you don't have to. There is no disadvantage to not putting some time into the game, but I also see, yes, there are certain things that do take time, which is material grabbing, like go and do all of your different votives, do your dungeon crawling, garner a lot of your materials within the game. The grind is going to be there, whether you like it or not. That's for you to decide. What I'm talking about is the time developed of this title. You're in the growing pain stage. It's a developing title. So if you don't like the grind, understandable. I do get it from that point. I've been playing Warframe for more than a decade. It's kind of the similar style, but also very different title, very developing time, different developing timeline. So when it comes to grind and effect of being rewarded for something, you need to invest something to get the result. It's the same time of investing money. It grows over time. It's the same thing with this game. The more time that you do invest, and you choose to invest your time in material acquisition to the crafting times, I do acknowledge there's certain crafting times that I don't personally like at the moment, but it does not mean that they're going to stay that way. It's a developing title. It's going to take time. So just be patient with the devs and be patient with the fact that the game is still developing. I do agree on the increasing of votive standing. I think that can be increased. However, again, we do have these items to sell to factions for favor as well. These basically expedite your faction rep processing. So basically, there's a 16,000 cap per day, per 24-hour period, I believe it is. Once you reach that cap naturally or intuitively through the votive trees, you can actually step over that with these particular favors to the faction reps. So you can sell these at different points. Kit the Kings like these for 250, Alka's Breath or Alka's Children like these for 250 returns, Lady D likes these for 250 returns. You can sell all of these to every single faction leader, and they will be able to give you excess faction rep, basically. Indeed, there's caps on them too, but also understand that there's reasons why that the devs have probably put them together. They're not probably going to say 100% why. From my perspective, I would probably think it's because people are farming too much. I would think, if anything, it's from a health perspective. So you don't necessarily want someone sitting there burning themselves out over 12 to 24 hours and then coming back and saying, oh, it's your fault. No, it's not. That's your fault for choosing to do that. So I want to make a few standpoints quite clear on how I feel about the title as being developed and what people are coming to. If you come with a solution, I appreciate that. I do understand there's certain things that aren't really nice to see, But again, it's a developing title. It's pre-alpha. It will take time. Things will change depending on the developmental plan that the guys at Soulframe have developed themselves. I hope that's clear. It's not, yeah, I don't disagree. Like, I think some of the caps on some of the stuff that we have, like, I think, oh, why? But again, I think it comes back down to the health of players being able to hit a certain cap and being like, actually, you know what? Cool. I've gotten all the caps today. I've been able to do all of my daily stuff. Now let's go do something else, you know, go do builds, go pick up more sap. I don't know, do a boss run. There's plenty of content in Soulframe at the moment that you have other options outside of what you're focusing on. And that is how I look at Soulframe in its entirety. I do watch a lot of the Discord feedback, a lot actually. And yeah, I do understand people's like outlooks on how the game is being developed. I do understand the frustrations. I certainly do. I've been there. Trust me, I've been there. I've been there with Warframe way back when. I'm not a founder in Warframe, but relatively close to when I think most of the major systems were being implemented and changed in Warframe. There's going to be things that people are going to like. There's going to be things that people aren't going to like. But I have to say, the devs are really good at acknowledging the pain points of the player base and actually talking about it and saying, hey, we're looking at this. Cool. I'm not saying don't give your opinion. I'm not saying don't have a bit of a gripe about something. It's what makes a game better. So I'm not going to say don't bring something to the table and keep it all happy. What I'm saying is just be more solutions focused with the knowledge that this is a developing title. We are not going to get everything just because we arc up and say, oh, we don't want this. Granted, certain things, yes, we can come together with a solution positively and say, hey, this system isn't working, but here's the reason why. That's how I operate. And I think that's a healthier way of approaching things. And that's just the way that I operate. I can't speak for any of you. You guys are inhumans. You guys do what you want. Hard to balance when you can pay to unlock. It's still a transactional system at the end of the day. It's a free-to-play base. The guys on the other side, they need to make money somehow. So it depends on the free-to-play style. What are they going to do? What can you purchase in-game? Let's take Warframe, for example. If you really like a cosmetic, you can purchase that. And that is money for them to invest back into the title. And look at where Warframe is now with that sort of like free-to-play model, essentially. There are all sorts of different games out there that build a business and a structure. I don't know what those are, but from what I can say on an end user and a gamer level, I do understand there's ways to, yeah, you can purchase a Paragon pack if you want to. Again, that's my choice. No one else is saying you have to buy this. I chose to do that. So when people say, you can unlock and you can pay to blah, 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 sure, you can. You can if you want. But if you don't want to, don't. It's a pretty simple black and white in my head. It can be community breaking when some people advance faster. I disagree on that very strongly. Very strongly. I disagree on that 100%. It's a balancing act. I do agree, Raji, but I disagree. There's no advantage to making a choice to invest in a title of a game. There's people on the other end, they need money to develop a game. So that's why I'm making it very clear. People can come in and complain about that with me. You're not going to get very far. I do understand what you're saying, but I disagree with it very heavily. So if you want to invest in the game, go for it. You want to invest in the devs, go for it. I have faith that Steve and the team are doing a very good job of this title. And I'm going to have my opinion. You're going to have yours. If we agree to disagree, that's fine. It's just the way that I see things and the way that you see things. And I think that does make games better. But I disagree. It makes a breaking change for a community and in entirety. I disagree with that. A community is built up of very different mindsets. And that's what makes a really strong, good community. And I don't think that you have to agree with everything. I really don't. There's a lot of things I disagree with, and that is one of the points. I don't think it's community breaking just because you got to spend like 50 arcs for storage. There's certain things that, yes, I look at and I think, well, you know, things could be changed. Starting envoys could have 100 storage capacity because we have weapons that drop like candy, and any crafted weapon takes a slot. It's 3 arcs per slot. So I think what it was, I calculated with one of the guys in chat a couple of months ago, 150 arcs translates down to 3 arcs per slot. I think at max, I calculated what 300 storage capacity was. In real money, it's less than like $5. So I put those sorts of things into perspective myself. So yeah, I don't agree with that. They're not asking a lot of money from players at the moment, really. It's a choice. If you want to purchase a pack, do, but it's your choice to do so. There is no enforcement that you have to purchase something to get ahead. That's not how it works. It's a mindset, if you ask me. Saw it in lots of MMO titles. Equivalent of people left behind being able to use Koga. They're not being left behind, dude. Go and play the game. That's the reward. Go and play the Waste Bear. Do all of your main Fable quests. You can easily access Koga. There's no being left behind. Everyone has access to the same pathway to get to Koga. No one is being left behind. Everyone has a different pathway to get there, sure. But you don't have to pay to be able to get there. Their friends move on. And that's what people do. That's part of life. If people don't enjoy something, let them. Does that make sense? I'm not trying to enforce anything at all. Like, I'm just giving my perspective back, and I'm not going to agree with everything. Alex Darius, hello. I would probably say we're just having an agree to disagree. If you want to read through chat, I'm not going to go back through it. I'm not here to, like, arc anyone up. I'm not here to agree on everything and make everything fancy schmancy. I'm going to be directly honest about how I feel on things. And I think that is just how anyone would want to operate themselves too. So it's just player choice. People want to move on. People want to invest time. If they don't want to invest time, in short, it's really up to player choice at the end of the day. There's no enforcement of having to jump into a game and force yourself to enjoy it just because you've got friends who do it. And then if there's something that comes along and they don't like and they want to leave, let them. That's okay. You don't have to do something that you don't want to at the end of the day. That's true. Everyone's got a different timeline as well. That's a fact. That's just life. That's not a game's fault. Not at all. Pay to skip? Nah, I still disagree. You can say it's pay to skip all you want, but I disagree. You really don't have to. As I say, everyone has the exact same pathway in this game. So, and if you played like MMOs for 20 years, sure. But everyone's got the same pathway at the end of the day in this game. So, pay to skip, if anything allows people to keep up with their friends, that's fine. That's a good thing, I think, in the inheritance of, say, Capitalist Camel. If you want to get at least a wild pack, it's like $20. So, you know, everyone's got different perspectives. I'm just being open about mine, and I'll speak for myself. I won't speak for anyone else. Yeah. Look, every game developer looks at things differently at the end of the day. Like, I'm not speaking for DE. I'm just looking at my perspective, my interaction, my experience of playing their games. That's all it is. So I think if you choose to purchase something in-game, I think it's a good thing because it's an investment for later down the line. That's all it is to me. So if I choose, that's my choice. I'm not being forced to purchase a Founders Pack at all. I chose to do it because I believe that the way that DE operate and the way that I've mentioned in everything that I've talked about earlier, and being part of Warframe for such a long time and just seeing growth over 13 years, I have no doubt that Soulframe is going to follow its own pathway in that pathway. And it's a different pathway. Even though it's made by DE, it's still the game itself. That's how I look at it. I separate the two. They're both different pillars of the same house, basically. So I think they're doing a pretty bang up job. Considering all of like the bugs that are present at times, it's actually really fun finding them. And I take a lot of pride in finding them and giving feedback on them and saying, hey, like this isn't working. Or, hey, what do you think about X, Y, and Z? This is an idea that chat and I have come up with. What do you think? And if they like it and they implement it in the game and it benefits everyone, why wouldn't you? That's how I think about it. And I've been really, really lucky. I've had Sam and a few of the other devs sneak into chat and they lurk around and they've asked me, they said, hey, like, what do you think overall? Like, what do you enjoy? I dive in. We sat in for, oh God, I think it was like 2 hours. And I had a few of the other, like, people in the community who support the devs in just managing the Discord feedback, etc. We hang out and we talk and we say, hey, what do you think about X, Y, and Z? Like, it takes many minds to create something, and not everyone's going to agree on stuff either. We just don't know the developmental timeline of Soulframe. That's the only difference. And the fact that it's still pre-alpha developing, there's going to be pain points along the way. You're just part of a process that is, you know, growing pains to a degree. So sure, things can be painful, things can be annoying, things can be frustrating, but don't take it out on a game just because you're choosing to invest your time. Find a way to enjoy it differently. And it, like being part of this process of the Preludes for myself, it's really taught me a lot about how a game is developed and the realistic factual timeline of what it's on. It's going to be different to my expectation of when things are going to get released too. It really just depends on satisfaction of the person who's creating the product at the end of the day. And I want a good product at the end of the day. And I think I can't speak for any other games because I mainly focus my attention on Soulframe. It's basically become like a specialty for me because I enjoy the way that the game is being developed. I really do. So, totally. Yeah. You got to get your kiddo. Aww. All right. Sleep well, kiddo. Wait, are you Wally Grey? Oh dear. I think we just found out that Grey is Wally from Warframe. Got to put kiddo to bed. Nah. Well, sleep well, little kiddo. All right. I do want to play around with the Everflame. Where's the Mendicant King? Actually, is there a stag around here? Are we still at nighttime? Night and 21 minutes. Looks like daytime to me. Anywho. Alright. Let's go get some nice souls. May I have your soul, sir? No? Okay. I'll catch up on chat, though. Saying that skip is a way for people to play less time with the game to keep up with their friends. Yeah. Okay, yeah. I see what you mean there, Grey. More Fatal mode show up a lot in the Asian style titles where the time-gated content knocked people out. Happened in a lot of the Western deployments of TNL. Interesting, okay. Time gates also encourage you to lock back in regularly. Indeed they do. Like, that was part of what I did in Warframe. You know, you get a new frame, it takes like 3 days to craft an entire Warframe. But man, it's really fun once you get access to it. As annoying they are, they have to be shown through stats to actually help maintain a player base for longer. Yeah, exactly. Where are we? Oh my god. Get away from me, Wham. They love burying themselves. At least you can see where they go. Come on, bud. Well, apparently we don't get souls, eh? Although I haven't really boosted my smite output yet. That's definitely a stabby stab sound. Excusez-moi. Alright, we'll see if we can get some smites on the king. Hey, bud. King 1 of 2. Can I please have your soul? Thanks. Thank you, thank you. Oh, you're staggered already? Lovely. Let's transact, shall we, sir? Nope. Don't do that. Oh, he can translocate from his worms. Ew. Alright, I need some healing. Elder Bloom 1. Is this coated as water yet? Probably not. Alright, we're gonna have to move, unfortunately. Come on. Oh no, this isn't coated as water. Oh, there we go. There's a vernal pool. Ah, it's a very small pool. Sweet God. Oh God. Okay, I'm in trouble. Nope. There we go. Come on, give me a vernal pool. There we go. Thank you, thank you. Alright, now you can hurt me. For the most part. Give me a vernal pool. Oh, there's only certain puddles that are being coated as water. You've got to make sure that you got the swirly things around you. Is this coated as water? Okay. Excuse me, sir. I need healing and I want my vernal pool, please. Eat it, bird. Doo-doo-doo. So, Treefell is good. It's great for AoE management. But if you really want to punch out damage, Everflame is going to be probably a better choice in that instance. 250% flame damage is pretty great in a concentrated hit, so... I wish that we got Purity, which was Moonsteel, but unfortunately... Actually, that's a decent one. It's got the block and the speed of attack, but also speed of heavy attack, which is great. Had your own thoughts? Yeah, nice. Very hard to balance a game to appease both groups of people. Absolutely agreed there. Virtually impossible to make a game where everyone is happy. Totally true. Someone will have an opinion. Everyone's got an opinion. The craft times of Warframe keep me coming back. Yeah, agreed. Even if I'm just frustrated at times. Totally understand that. I've been there. I've lived and breathed Warframe for a very long time. It's that reward of finally getting to that point that makes me feel accomplished. Yeah, totally. Finally, you financially support a dev team because I want to? Same. Absolutely agreed. Is time skipping convenient? Yeah, totally. It's literally saving you time. It's just an option. You don't have to take it if you don't want to. Some games like Warframe are more time friendly. True. What I mean by that is if you have to go AWOL from the game, you can come back anytime without missing out. Absolutely correct on that one. Destiny did the exact opposite and left it a bad taste in a lot of people. Yeah, I've been seeing that. I won't speak on that because I haven't had the experience of that particular title. But I've certainly seen a lot of positive results, I would say, in certain ways. And I think being able to welcome in different players from different player bases, offering them a whole new kind of system and understanding and feel and economy of different player mindsets, I think is really positive. So I think, you know, at the end of the day, I think about it this way, like we're all humans, clearly, and we all see things differently. I think having a difference of opinion and different experience can certainly bring like a new wellspring of information and ideas together. And I think what's happening, like more so in Soulframe, I think, is that people have got other ideas from like Skyrim, Morrowind, Elden Ring as examples, and then being able to bring those sorts of ideas to fruition through the systems that we currently have, but then understanding that down the road that's going to change. I think just being very, like myself, I like being very clear with the standpoint of I understand it's a developing title. It's not going to be perfect. I actually enjoy the bug farming. I really do. And also, if you're relatively new to Soulframe and you want to actually interact with an actual character, that's called Bug. It's literally her name. She is based in the Silent Rose faction, and she's very sassy, which is great. And I think that's, you know, tip of the hat to the devs to have that good sense of humor and be like, hey, let's put an actual bug in the game. I love that sort of stuff. There's little Easter eggs like all the way through Warframe in that sense too. So I think just as the game develops, there's definitely going to be pain points and there's going to be a lot of frustration for sure. But if it comes down to a point of, I just don't like this, I'm not going to play, like that I've seen people wailing on about, fine. Come back when it's ready. That's not a bad thing, because there's still going to be people who enjoy where the processes currently are, and it may be painful for one person, it may be enjoyable for another. You don't know. It's a 50-50 split, essentially, in my head. So if you enjoy it, great. If it's frustrating, if you like bug farming, if you like just running around the world casually once a week for a couple of hours and you feel you know, okay, cool. Like, I don't have the most maximum amount of power on a weapon. It's because you haven't got a max level weapon. You may not have, you know, an account level that's contributing extra points to it, but you also haven't time invested in the game either. I don't see that as a negative, personally. Different titles, again, do different things. They will give you a reward just for just stepping in and getting rewarded straight away. That's the way that they operate. They have their reasons of doing that. Probably for attracting people. Hey, jump in, you can play this level, you know, 3 times and you get this awesome weapon. Awesome, that's great, good for them. But I just think different games, different business platforms, essentially, they all do different things, and we've all got like crazy amount of different experience too. Interesting systems that might work quite well in Soulframe. Are that, what? Worth looking at as stuff in the top-down cosmetics? The gearing and power system starting to feel a lot more like those, even though the presentation's very different. I love it where it's at, and I love being part of the process of the game, being built, but I also respect that. Totally, I absolutely get it. You know, like, I jump into other people's chat streams and I say hi and I just ask them, like, how are you finding the game? And, like, most of them are really, like, honest, which is good, because I don't expect everyone to say, oh, I absolutely love it. I'm me. You are you. That's how I think about it. So there's going to be things that you are not going to like, and that's a good thing. And there's going to be things that I'm not going to like, and that's a good thing. Because inherently, that's still feedback, essentially, at the end of the day. And I've learned through, I guess, processing a conversation with people by doing, like, streaming and just talking with people about the game. It's good that we don't all align, because that makes a game boring. I want challenge. I want difference. I also want to destroy Susan from Finance, who is literally in front of us. To let you guys in, Susan from Finance are these giant drones that carry these lovely chests of embezzled funds. She's an absolute pain in the ass, and I hate Susan from Finance. So, we're going to kill her. Painful. Absolutely painful. Susan from Finance. To give you guys a little bit of an understanding, I'm just going to dip into build use at the uno momento. I will catch up on chat in a second. If you aim sights and bestone an enemy, you can actually stone up to 6 enemies in total. If you do a heavy attack at an enemy, you will do absolute shitloads of damage. 2,994, and I also got punched in the head by a Banneret. Sneaky bitch. Anyway, I anticipate that sort of stuff to happen in Koga. Anyway, it was nice kind of showing you the showcase of the efficiency of her shoulder. You know what really irks me, though, with those Bannerets is when they backhand you. Oh, man. I just want to backhand them back. I'm like, how dare you? I will run Koga again, though. I am going to do it solo. Just so I can get, like, more accurate kind of visual interaction for you guys as well. I find that co-op, yes, is really, really fun. Don't get me wrong. But I just find for accuracy of, like, number showing, I find that being solo just works for me. So far, the only thing in the game that I'm not in favor is the history motes work. I'm not going to disagree on the motes, in all honesty. That is something I've been heavily trying to let people know. They do contribute to your overall, like, lore find, which I think is a nice little side piece. But I would like to see the overall experience folded into something else, personally. And the reason being I say that is because, as you guys know, even the starter sandbox area is absolutely sensationally large. So I don't disagree. I think perhaps lowering the amount of motes to maximum 3 virtues per point of interest, I think would be ideal, because then it gives you a capped amount of 3 motes per location. It's something that we can look into. It's something as players can jump in and be like, okay, I've got 3 motes to find, and it aligns with the 3-point virtue, grace, courage, and spirit. I feel like that would be a much more efficient way of using the motes system for the overall experience gains that they do give, rather than, like, running around trying to find, oh, I don't know, almost 10 different motes just for the Robgot Ruins. I understand that's how the system is at present, but I would really like to see that shifted to 3 points of motes per location. more of, say, like the major locations, maybe strip back some of the external part locations and then give something else as a specialty thing in that particular area. Like Tofslan, as an example, it's disgusting, I remember these names, but this is Tofslan up here. There's really no other reason to come up here. Well, actually there is now. I think it was part of P12 or P11. There's like a little note in here, and you can come down here, you do something here, and then you basically come down and kill Eldredred, basically. That is part of Orlic's quests, if I'm not mistaken. But I would like to see a reconfiguration of how the moats system have been integrated into the systems that we have, but introduce it very early on so players know that there's moats out there, specifically starting with Grandfar's Hut. This is where we start in the game. Put 3 moats around this area, even potentially putting it into Rise Envoy. I utilize this very frequently. This is a massive introduction to the game, and I really feel like this can absolutely be expanded. And I think all like modes of things that we do, pull smites, moat acquisition, charming, they should all be incorporated into Rise Envoy quest. So by the time you finish it, you actually understand what your pull smite is going to do, what your heavy attacks can do with your bows, and what the moats look like, and the reason why they are useful as a bonus to increase your account level, to increase your virtues. I really think that would be fundamentally a very strong start to this game. I really do, because you're not really going to know, but that's also inherently the same side of the same coin in a way. You flip that coin, come and see people like myself who have the knowledge and share it with you guys. So, bit of a thing, but I really think that the game could certainly have those tools available to players to let them know, hey, go and pull smite this mode. This is what it does, kind of thing, with tooltips, etc. I really think fundamental tooltips, etc., like that could be absolutely implemented for sure. I think the moats would feel better if they were all findable. I agree. Yeah. We're on the same page there, dude. Yeah, big time. Oh, we have ads. Unfortunate. That's good feedback. You should submit that. Which one? Orlick. Blazin, by the way, thanks to you, I was able to finally find and fight Sensational. Oh yeah, she's a bitch, hey. She's fun though. I wouldn't have found it, so truly appreciate you. Oh, my pleasure. You're very welcome. I shouldn't be swearing, but oh well. I think the moats would feel better if they were all findable and more consistently time-gated, like they were explicitly 2 to 3 a day. Yeah, I think that'd be fine. Or like even like every half hour, every day-night cycle in the game, I think would be slightly more appropriate. Something easily explainable rather than login revisit spam. Presently, that's kind of what it's like. But I mean, it's a fix until that, I guess, area of the game is more smoothed out. Hey, that little shit took my knowledge. Get back here. Rude. They spawn day, night, dusk, night. So as the time of day changes, you can just leave the area and come back and they'll spawn. True. I get it from both sides there, Grey and Raji. Like, I think I would probably like to see it on the cycles of day, nighttime myself. But have like more of like a tighter area of where they spawn, because sometimes they can just spawn in like really like large location, more so in say like Cairns, I think it's called. It's on the eastern coast. It's just down here. It's revolting. I remember all these names. I know. You're all welcome. This is the Cairns area. I know it because it's the tower. It's near Dimrod. This area is like the farmed out tree area. Like the moats can spawn like all the way out like in this area. So to be able to reduce that radius more so around like the township areas, and maybe like just with sounds, just putting like your sound settings up for sound effects, I think it is, will essentially allow you to hear the tinkle, basically. A few other little tips though. Visual effects intensity. This is something I've actually put up on YouTube quite a while back, but I would highly recommend watching that. Self-plug, I know it's revolting. Like and share and subscribe. I do have more videos on the way, but essentially, if you want to see or have issues with, say, like the burb, just chuck a waypoint down, like right-click or right-stick for controller. When you summon your burb, you will actually see the trail a lot easier as well. So if you're having trouble like visually seeing that trail of visual tracking, that's what your visual intensity will be able to do for you. The visual effects intensity. You can also just do it in like the search bar too. Very, very easy tooltip. You can also reduce teammates' visuals as well for party as well. I generally run probably about a 115. It depends on your setup though, but that's a recommendation from me. Like I would definitely check those settings out. Very, very useful. And also compass always visible. If you haven't utilized this, do. It's one of the best quality lives I've ever had in this game. And there's also something to be said of the compass itself. When you put a waypoint down, you actually see that up on your compass in the middle of the UI. It's a very minimalist UI, but very useful. In tile sets as well, if you start a votive, look for the bird icon and like follow where the bird moves on the compass. Essentially, it's basically saying, hey, come and like find me here. And basically it's just targeting the exit for you. If Burb is just being an absolute nightmare, like now, just flying and disappearing, utilize your compass. It's more of a guaranteed directional function rather than utilizing Burb. Because Burb, as we know, is, you know, drunk on Webbit nuts and, I don't know, Webbit sap. Who knows what they eat. You got to go, but wanted to hop in to say thanks for helping me. Oh, my pleasure, Blazin. Very welcome. Thank you very much. Very welcome. Thank you very much for joining. Nice to see you. I think they should be present at all times. You mean the icons or the compass? Yeah, I do disagree. I feel like the compass should just be on default. And if you want to turn it off, you can. For the love of show up on our spectral site. Oh, God. Yeah, don't get me started on spectral sites. Or do. Spectral site is fundamental to the like quality, I think, of how the envoys operate. They can see a lot. And by doing Orlic's quest, you actually expand the range of that. Pull smites, you can auto like charm animals too. That's based on Warframe's auto hacking ability. I think it's roughly up to like 15 to 20% of chance. You can kind of cheese it a little bit if you really want to. Say for example, you see an animal and you want to charm it. You can actually drop it and then just keep on spamming. Hang on, I'll show you. Oh hey, there's a 5-star squirrel. Do I want to keep like soul smiting it? No, I don't. I can just auto hack it. Wait, come back. No, please don't leave. Please don't leave. Come on. Auto charm. You will be mine. Come on. It takes a bit. It's a bit annoying, but eventually you can actually. Oh god. No. Run. Maybe I should. Is that auto? There we go. Thanks, bud. That's what the 5-star squirrels look like. I'll take a screenshot and chuck it in the Discord for you. Those little guys are relevant to your journal too. The universal totems are very useful. They can be used for any weapon. Some of your totems will have specific weapon types or grip types. You do have a filter system down here, by the way, if you weren't aware. If you have flyblade, that's specific. You can actually select that. Longsword, you got bow, you got shortblade, shield, polearm, and magic. They don't actually select the actual totems specifically. So the top left icon in these information cards will show you a 3-pronged universal spread, basically. But some of them will have specific totems and a coloration to the circle, like this armor coat. This one will only fit on flyblades. And there are other ones like polearms, short blades, like this diving drake. This is part of Ish, the older system of the totems before it got reformatted with the virtue systems that we now have, the short blades. But the purple ring around these totems meant that they were like the mid-range rarity. And then we had gold ones, which showed gold flowers around the border once they were at max rank 3. I'm just gonna like stone you because you're annoying. Dinner time? No worries, Grace. Great to see you. Also use the permanent crosshair dot. Oh yeah. Ultra long range easier? Indeed. I actually choose not to use the reticle all that much myself because I like an open kind of look. I do use a larger FOV, which I enjoy. But yeah, you can certainly activate your reticle, always active at all times. I would probably say what this can do is help you focus on something. If you have like movement kind of sickness-ish things happening when you do play a game, it actually stabilizes your visual look, so you're actually focusing on that one point. which is quite a nice touch, if you ask me. Most games probably do have it default, but I choose not to use it myself. Colorblind compensation, I actually don't mind using Protanopia. It does draw on my GPU usage a little bit, not too much, but it does give you that slight like filtration system, basically. And it does kind of clean things up a little bit and kind of softens the visuals. I'm not colorblind myself, as far as I know, but it does kind of soften things a little bit. But it definitely does have a lot of capability use within the game too. What do we got? Grin? We'll dismantle that. Dismantling 3-star weapons and under will give you like more materials. So the higher tier weapon that you have, the more materials essentially you'll get back, which is nice. Let's go beat someone up, because we decided to beat up Susan from finance, and we'll take all of her stuff back that she stole from us. Extortionist, I swear. I can also show you guys a few locations for Abacot now that his shop is back in action. Abacot's Gots is actually Gots, which is good. We also have the Willow Wings. As far as I'm aware, the material that the large one planted, this is what Spectral Sight is useful for, is seeing these little fellows. If you crawl up to the big one in the middle, pick up whatever he has, which is the Willow Bulb. I don't think they're actually used for anything at the moment. They are very useful. But for stoning them, you can actually stone them right in the air, which is nice. And yes, they do stay stoned. Who knew? A plant making themselves stoned. They do smash. They can drop the Willow Fronds, but Willow Fronds now drop from most Dermac City Undercity tile sets as well. But that is one little thing that you can do with the Willow Wings. If you are farming all of the little animals, or foes rather, in your book, Alkanalmanic Codex, etc., whatever it has been named, you do have this entry for the Willow Wings. You cannot smite them. So I am perplexed as to how we can achieve a smite on those little fellows to put this entry into the game. I have pulled smite plenty on the Rainbreaker. It doesn't look like these entries are necessarily active at the moment, but this would be the Mendicant Rainbreaker, which is who I'm going to head to next. And then I'm going to do some of the Rovgot Ruins. We do have a secondary Mendicant King. I believe this is the Mendicant King. It looks like him. He is also based in the Rovgot Ruins. So some of the entries in the journal at the moment may not actually be fulfilling themselves. I have a feeling that might be a syncing issue with the database, drawing on the data into your account to be able to fill these out. So I wouldn't worry too much if some of these aren't filling themselves out. The Circade you can get Smite Chance on is relatively difficult to do that. But there is another entry that is relatively, like, not hard, but I would say take something like Orangol and boost your Smite Chance with Totems as well. The Wizard of the Wastes. He's the one that is part of the Fable for the Wastebear quest. So he's roughly about halfway through. So he is an entry within the Alkanalmanic, or again, book, etc. You can get him by doing that Fable a few times if you choose to. It's basically like a completionist thing. As you can see, I've only got 64 of these 75, so even if I had all of these, they're not actually filling out. It's nothing that like is being done wrong on end user. It's just that these informational pieces all aren't necessarily looking like they're active just yet. So that's actually something I've got to add into feedback as well. Circade, relatively okay to get. But again, I use, Orangol to do that. Another great quality of life change would be of collecting one mote pointed towards the nearest. Oh my god, Fangle. Yes, you are the goat, my friend. Have you put that in feedback in the Discord by any chance? Because I don't want to forget that. I think that would be absolutely fucking phenomenal. I said fuck. It's seal in French. I'm allowed to do that. That'd be amazing. I mean, I could probably go to the Rovgot Ruins and show you how the compass interacts with the motes as well. You do see like the little googly eyes when you come across the motes. Like you see, I think 3 or 4, depending on how many motes are active in that area. You'll see like the little googly eyes. I wish they kind of stayed up a little bit longer, so it kind of pointed and said, hey, motes nearby. Something like that. It's basically what the compass does. But essentially, I think that would be phenomenal. Like, to direct you towards the next moat, I think would be great, because then you're not losing out on that experience for your account too, and you're not really running around aimlessly, almost, in a way. No tantrum lighting for you, sir. To be able to get that experience to add to your account level. I think that's a really good feedback point. You get ideas, but you usually forget to put them in. Well, send them my way. I'll put them in. Jesus, that's a really good one. See, and that's what I mean before, you know, like, it takes more than one mind to create something. It takes a whole tribe. And I think the efficiencies, different strengths and weaknesses, in lack of better terms, is what makes a game better at the end of the day. I think if you can agree to disagree in a healthy way, and my understanding of health is like, actually, you know what? I'm going to save my brain space. I disagree. This is my point. I see what you're coming from, but I wouldn't do that. It's like, okay, cool. No problem. Like, that's just the way that I think. But I think also being like 4.0 in life, it's taught me a lot to, you know, where do I want to expend my energy? Do I really have to keep pushing to get my point across? Probably not. I really don't. I can either accept something as it is. I can only control how I interact with myself and how I, you know, operate myself, basically. I'm not here to try to mind control everyone else like Armour. In that sense, that'd be kind of cool. But yeah, I understand. We're all different. So, but I definitely think with feedback, it's fundamentally, it's worth putting in. No matter how big or small you think it is, it could make a really cool change in the game too. Hey, this is that creep dude with the grin. He summons lightning differently. Yeah, he does that flare move. Hell yeah. So does that mean he's calling in some drop pods? No way. Does he call in drop pods? That is so cool. So he's got a flare gun. You're awesome. I like you. I wish to interact with you more. Excuse me. I need to talk with your friend. Oh my god. Asshole. Goddamn mages. They're so annoying. Get out of here. Here. I don't like it. What? What the hell killed her? Okay. Alright. Let's give you a heart attack, because you're an asshole too. There we go. Yeah. Eat those birds. Okay. She just got levitated back off the ground. And she's not being staggered. Lovely. Get it, Burbs. Come on. Come on. Oh, God. Oh, God. Please don't hurt me. I want to interact with you more. I wish to be your friend. I promise. No more lightning grenades. Holy Hannah. Excuse me. Get out of here. Is your stagger bar, like, building? Or no? Alright. No, there we go. Great. See ya. I dislike her very much. Nope. Okie dokie. Can you do another flare thing? I want to see that. Oh, look at that! You ask nicely and the game delivers. 100,000 arcs, please. And Metaskyan has just relieved himself, apparently. That's dope. So he throws out flares. That's so cool. But where's the drop pods? No, I don't think so. Alright, I'm fucking around with these guys a bit too much. Okay, stability, awesome. Great. Okay, well. There's one. And there's two. Get out of my face. I don't like you. There we go. Absolute Shudder. I love Oshudder. It's one of my favorite packs for this reason. A little bit more, like, less health, but honestly, the damage output on maximized builds is still pretty good. But I want to take you guys down to Robgot, and I want to show you what the Paragon Sword can do. Hey, bud. Okay, I'm going to have to put Everflame back on this setup too. Excuse me. Tree Fell is very effective though, I have to say that. Definitely put your ideas in the disc. Like, if you just keep them concise and, like, you know, something like solo play, suggestion for modes, something just simple like that, and just kind of giving a short explanatory reasoning, I think is, from my understanding, like sufficient enough for the devs to be like, cool, that's a cool idea. I am going to do something different. I'm not going to reduce rune drain. I don't really need to. Let's do, I mean, we could turn enemies into friends, but do we really want to be friends with the Ode? Drag enemies? Maybe not. Let's do increase smite chance by 10%. Pull smites around the Envoy, they can be fun, but I'm going to do smite chance to other enemies. And then what we'll do, what's something I haven't really played with? Create a decoy. Yeah, you know what? Oh, we could do dragging enemies, but I don't think I really want to do that. Additional damage? Nah. Let's do create a decoy for 2 seconds. And let's build that one up. The new tooltips. This is nice. That's really nice. 5 seconds, create a decoy. Alright. Let's see how we go with this. You know what? I'm not gonna say that I'm not excited for mounts, to be honest. I think having the efficiency of being able to summon a wolf is going to be pretty dope, in all honesty. I think having the efficiency of being able to run around and move faster, I think will be great. Although, I wouldn't mind having maybe, I don't know, a point where we have a world tree that is relatively locale to maybe a couple of different areas that we can teleport to. I think would be nice. Like even one up here, the one down here near the wizard would be beneficial. Just so you can get to like the north and south nodes of the island, I think would be like really nice, to be honest. Just so we have access to slight bit of fast travel. But again, I think that'd probably come down to like a lot of different areas of maybe like health of farmability, etc. Sherp, hello. Sherps? I like the name. Sherps. Have you seen that totem slot you just upgraded? It's not affected by the bonus? Oh, right. Yeah, it's the slot. I keep on forgetting that. It's not the actual totems. It's the actual, like, this one. Like, yeah. That's why I don't really utilize my mainstay runes in them. Because, yeah, when you're switching... I mean, it won't work on these ones, but as an example, if you switch, it actually switches your totems, which is funky. I noticed that quite a while back, so that's why I put most of my like main base, what's it called, totems in the one slot, and then anything that translates over to the second slot, yeah, I've been noticing it's not working. So I think that's what someone in chat was actually mentioning before. It's not so much the actual rune that's not activating, it's this actual slot that isn't working because of the way that the loadouts are switching between both of these. So I think it's only in the attack slot. I don't necessarily know if it's activating or deactivating basically on the second slot in spirit, but as far as I've seen, the spirit ones have been fine. I think it is the active secondary opening slot on the attack slots that are the issue, unfortunately. We have an auto squirrel. I love how instantly it was just like, oh, okay, I'll come for a hug. Super cute little man. Alright, go and repopulate the island so we can get more totems. I have to actually work for you? Okay, righto. I have to mind control you properly, unfortunately. Your Jedi mind powers aren't working very well today, Envoy, unfortunately. Speaking of Star Wars, I actually watched The Mandalorian the other day. Holy, that is amazing. I think it's like the brand new one. I can't remember its name. I watched like maybe halfway through it, like from halfway to the end. It was actually pretty cool. I just want to showcase what Orangol does to these particular doggos too, if you guys want to see it. It doesn't last very long, but it does work on these dudes. So Orangol. Hello, Onion Lover 69. Well, that sounds like a very sexy onion love time. top to bottom and bottom to top. When do you think the game will be ready? Oh, I have no idea. If I had information on the consoles, I wouldn't even be able to say if I had the information, really. That's more of like a business like decision thing in development, I'd say. So I'm sure that we'll get information as to when that will happen, when they're starting to become available. But for now, it's just pre-alpha. It's still in developmental mode. Hey. Okay, well, I mean, anyway, you can mind control the dog. Apparently it likes me enough that I can get a family photo with it. Nope, apparently not. Alright. I'll see if I can get it to be aggressive. Be aggressive. Be aggressive. Yeah. I don't have any information on when it's going to be console. That's basically down to like all the console companies and like the devs to like work out contracts and all that sort of stuff. So I don't know how it all works. I am not part of that. I'm not part of that business strategy, so to speak. But hopefully, like in, I don't know, maybe like the next 2 years, maybe? I don't know. It could be sooner, but yeah, I've got no quantifiable information on that. So HAL works very well. Unfortunately, these doggos, they don't do a lot of damage, unfortunately. There's certain enemies in the game at the moment that don't do a whole bunch of damage. And unfortunately, the Slayer dog is one of them. Good for you, though. Not great for them. They're just more of an annoyance than anything. Yep. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Penelope and Patricia, please enter the arena. Get this dog, and no, you can't pat it. Beat it. Thank you, thank you. Alright, Patrick, you're next. I summon you. The Ballast Shrimp are quite good to go up against. If they drop this lantern, pick up their stuff, and run away. You get a nice bomb, which is pretty strong, if you ask me. It will take you out pretty quickly, so do be mindful if you are running Koga. They can one-shot you, which is not ideal. Odiak, also extremely good. Reason being is because it's voltaic damage output. It's very good against most enemies as well in the game, especially something like Nimrod. Funny enough that he's lightning based, but the Ode Basalcum tanks really don't like voltaics. So if you have Odiak, which everyone should now because of the drops being increased, you will be in a very good spot with this particular weapon. It's very good. I started Soulframe with the Odiak as my primary weapon, and it's very, very good. The Hollowing Rune is also something to be spoken of. It's a Koga-based rune. It's very fun. It turns enemies into bombs, which is quite nice. Ah, thank you. Alright, I'm going to switch away from Orangol, though. I do love Orangol, but not today. Let's have a look. What would we like to play next? Actually, you know what? We'll take Garen, because I do want to have a bit of a play with the Torment as well. I feel like it will torment me. I'll bring up the Decalic Moonsteel Shiny, and I will bring Odiak. I do have this particular one, which has Swooning Blow, increased stagger while attacking. It's got increased Clarity range, or faster heavy attack, but also Slinger's Tempo. To take you guys through some of the mechanics of the combat systems at present, the magic system is pretty good. I would be working on Grounded for casting speed increased while you're standing still. So if you don't move, you actually start casting a bit faster. Unhindered is also something for heavy cast strikes. They actually punch through enemies, so the more points that you put into this particular node, the increased number of enemies that you punch through. Aim for the head. Misdirection is increased smite on Spectre strikes. That's basically like a dodge mechanic after a perfect dodge. I just have them put in here because I don't have any other option to do that. Warding Ways is heightened defense against stagger when guarding, which is really good. Scry, extra lock-on chance range for magic weapons. Smitten, increased chance of smite. I would highly recommend looking at all of those particular nodes. Jolted, it's based on Spectre strikes once more. Spectre strikes I really don't value a perfect dodge mechanic myself. It's just not really my thing until I see a better mechanic interaction with this particular setting. I don't really use it personally. So I mostly just do Helm Gong as well, increase stagger on fully charged heavies. So a weapon tempo such as these ones on like a swooning blow and slinger's tempo, and the arcane clarity for increased heavy attack efficiency charges is beneficial. Very much so. Mabafed, I love that. Did you just change your name to Mabafed? I love it. How do I have every node unlocked? Basically by leveling every single weapon in the game. Inherently, that is based on your account rank, which is doing all of the things that will give me experience points. So leveling every single weapon to rank 30 will give you the maximum return, and you can only do that once. So if you're trying to double dip just by getting another Odiak, you're not going to be able to. Basically, every weapon singularly will give you a certain amount of experience points up into rank 30. And to note this as well, weapons have their own leveling system. So basically, at a rule of thumb, the experience that you gain per level also increase that particular weapon type's damage output. And once you hit rank 30, that is when you get the boosted amount of damage. Scott, one of the devs in one of the dev streams, I believe it was roughly around Preludes 10 to a Preludes 11, they explained how weapons level. So as you're leveling a weapon, the more damage that you get. So once you get to rank 30, you have the maximum amount of like folded damage into the weapon levels. And once you hit that rank 30, that's when you can start really seeing more results from your damage output from your weapons at least. The arts keep going. I guess I hadn't got that far yet. What's a max out level? Basically when you've filled out the tree. The numbers that you see above the weapons at the moment, I've got 40 for magic weapons, I've got 50 for short blades, I've got 30 for bows, I've got 15 for short blades, and 25 for heavies. So essentially that's just counting pretty much, I think, all the points that you have for the tree. So the more weapons that you have in one particular grip type, the fuller your tree will become. So it's also part of the system of leveling your whole entire account, but it's also utilizing all of the different weapons grip types within the game. And as you guys can see, we have an absolute shite load of weapon drops now. So there's really no reason not to level up your weapons. There are certainly weapon types that I personally don't really like using, and I just don't use them. But the fact that I can level that up relatively quickly now with the Omen Beast system, giving us the experience buff, is beneficial, essentially, because once I've done that weapon, I can basically bin it and just break it down and give myself materials back and move on. That's part of the system. Cenotaph, I probably should level this one, shouldn't I? All right, we'll take Cenotaph. I will show you guys the Cenotaph. This is one of the weapons that you can acquire from where we're going next, which is quite nice. So let's have a looky. Smite, yeah, we'll do Smite Blast because I like it. We'll do Smite to other enemies. Actually, no, I'm going to put that in Spirit. Do I want Restoration of Life? Actually, you know what? I will put that on. And then I'll put the... do I want to buff my virtues? Do I want to buff my virtue? Nah. We'll do Smite. Stagger, Rune Dealing extra damage, and Spreading Sploot. And we're going to take the Mistgale at max rank 3 as well. To let you guys in on how to rank your totems and your runes, what I would recommend is melting down any excess runes that you have, because they give you 25,000 or 2,500, sorry, returns in Harmony, which is the material or resource that you need to maximize runes. So I'm going to put a rank 0 Mistgale on. It has a 125% chance for whatever it's saying. 125 or 125 stagger. You can upgrade down the bottom of this info card, or you can just right click. It will show you the stats increase at 5,000 Harmony spend to rank 1, and then you can do that 2 more times. You have to spend 10,000 to get rank 2, and lastly it's 20,000 Harmony to be able to rank this particular rune up to rank 3. That goes for all totem runes in the game. If you click down on Compendium, it will actually not show you anymore all of the other runes that you have available. It used to. I think it's been disengaged. feel like they're going to be removing that. So if you switch to a rank 0 and you're like really fanging for some extra harmony, you can actually break your fully maxed rune down. If you have another copy, I wouldn't recommend doing this on your only maxed rune because of the investment of resource, but you can basically just hold the confirm, which is a safety mechanism, and you can remove that rune. So I have two of these at max rank 3, but I also have 137 copies of Everflame basically. So if you're finding it difficult to find certain runes, some of them are Koga variant bossed. So you do have to run Koga to be able to achieve these. Otherwise, what you can do is actually trade with someone like myself who's willing to for a Koga variant rune. But the Koga variant runes are very good. They're not the be-all and end-all. Everflame is a base level rune. It's extremely good at rank 3. So if you have a longsword, you are in a very good spot. It's very strong. Alka's Breath on the bows is extremely powerful because of the arcanic damage overlaid onto your weapons damage. Alka's Breath, same deal. It's arcanic damage, it's magic. If you're a spirit user, it's a one-hit punch to the face. It's awesome. Treefell specifically is from Koga, as is the Pictrix. It's sensational. Splitbolt, that is also for polearms, also from Koga. The Torrent rune is from Grulseeker Ruthos in the very northeastern quarter, up near Mirafjord in Koga specifically. This is a very, very strong rune. It's very good on bows. The Hollowing is sensational. This is from the Wraith of Wastes. It's extremely good on all magic weapons. You mark foes, and it is very strong. It basically can clear rooms. I'm not kidding. It's fantastic. So I can show you that. Hurlwind comes from either Martyr, or actually it's more of like a base rune now. So it does have voltaic damage as well. So I can showcase quite a lot of the different rune setups. I've got my favorites that I like. Split Smoke is quite an interesting one, and it's very good for invisibility, but I also use it as a healing mechanic on Siren, as an example, with a dagger. It's very good. Any of the flame-based runes, crap out damage at rank 3, so 250% flame damage is extremely strong. Most of these runes, like the Everflame, can drop from, I believe it's Fort Kernhold, after you finish the siege against Malrog, and Treefell, that one can drop from a few different variants of bosses now within Koga, predominantly from the Mendicant King, but I do believe that it can be dropped from one of the other Banneret style bosses. I can't quite remember which one. The Misgale can drop from the Nell Knight up in the very northeast. He's quite an easy boss to get around, but he can drop the Misgale, which is fundamentally very good. So I will be taking the Misgale with the Cenotaph as well. The arts keep going, yeah. You added your mode suggestion to the Discord. Fangle, excellent work, Envoy. Very good. It's good if you guys do add them, because the more voices that are in there giving the feedback, the better. Because if it just looks like just, you know, I'll sit there and I will batch give feedback for sure, but at the same token, if I end up doing that, it just kind of looks like I'm just doing, you know, it's just my opinion. I don't want it to seem like that. I would rather like see more people give their feedback and feel comfortable to, because I think it's very valuable to see more people giving feedback, just in my head. But it's honestly, it's up to you if you want to do it. But I think that suggestion with the motes is very good. So I'm glad you put that feedback in. That's really good. Very, very good. Let's go see if we can go find Rainbreaker and My Little Pony. She should be around here. I don't think I've taken her on. There she is. Hey, bud. Do you want to come play up here? No? Are you going to canter away? Oh, shit. Okay. Come on. Hey, do you want to follow me off here? Will you follow me to the ends of MIdrath? Oh, she does. Okay. Let's see if... Oh, we can pull smite you too. Great. Come on. I'm going to take you to the throne. There's a nice little trick I like using against you. And she's stuck. Come on. Just do a nice little canter, my dear. I do like this boss. She's very cool. I don't know why, but mendicants really don't like bells. But anyway, you can punch her in the face with Torment and then just throw stagger at her. If you really want to, you can just axe her pretty much. She's quite fun though, so I like to play around with her a little bit. You do have to give the bell roughly like a second and a half to kind of reset to be able to stagger her again. It's the same kind of deal with Medica King too. Alright, so she is glowing. So that means the Hollowing Rune on 3 hits at rank 3 will make these enemies explode. And they do chain together as well, which is quite nice. But basically our attacks are built to hit the horse, not the actual Rainbreaker herself. So you do have to force aim your attacks on her. But if you do a light heavy tap, it will activate the rune basically. So there. Yeah. My Little Pony. You do have to pull smite on this guy to be able to basically reset the boss too. But there we go. My Little Pony. I don't know why I name things in the game, but I do. There you go. That's My Little Pony. Rainbreaker. Alright, we'll go down and we'll have a bit of a play with the hopefully the twins. They are very good to farm, I would say. I've been farming the Lightwake in this dungeon for the Moonsteel, and I was very lucky that I acquired it, which was nice. It is quite pretty to look at. So my focus on Moonsteels is mostly for like the Darksteel weapons, because I feel like that actually looks really nice. So this is the Cenotaph that can drop from this particular tile set too. So what have we got? Oh, we got no buffs anymore. Oh, we've got the Omen boost buff. So we'll utilize that for now. And Garen Rude is quite a good user of both Spirit, Courage, and Grace as well. Very, very good. If you're using a full like Grace-based setup, essentially Stampede will activate really nicely. But Behest is also a very good armor strip on Spirit. But you can also boost the efficiency of its cooldown reduction through Garen Rude's passives. Very good user on bows, predominantly most weapons. Its Garen Rude is just good. I do maximize the Grace output generally to 45 with Orangor's armor set too. It scales extremely well with Grace. If you check the virtual requirements for your armor, essentially the more Grace that you have, the better off in armor scaling you will be. And Orangor's set is acquirable through faction rep through Alka's Children. The plastics totems or talismans, same deal. You've got to pick these up from your factions, get the Sacred Shimmer icon from the shop, and pick those up and craft those for 23 hours. It does also apply to Sacred Shimmer to these 3 different amulets. Use them if you like to. I don't really use them as much anymore. They do have special benefits to them. With each Agari felled by the Koga, this talisman grows more powerful. Inherently, what it's supposed to do is per Agari boss that you defeat in Koga, you will get plus 10 attack damage, essentially. Triune Talisman is tried and true, is probably one of the most powerful in the game because of the 3 stat spread that you get from it. Your plus 6 talismans are very, very good, absolutely. They just maximize your builds, essentially. But you do have these 3 talismans, which you generally get quite a lot of talisman drops of, and they do take crafting time as well. So Sin's Belljar is great for the Courage +4, Darskull is +4 Grace, and then Orangor's Fang is Spirit +4. You can pick this one up now more regularly from the Circade event tile set. There are some secret gold chests in there that have the chance to drop this, as do the Glades of Andoran. If they're at least a 30+ dungeon, you've got better chances of them dropping too. So if you're a founder, you're lucky. You've got the Paragon Parapet, basically. Not lucky, but you've invested in something that is very worthwhile, essentially. But if you want to do complete free-to-play, Triune Talisman is absolutely very beneficial, for sure. Do you have any tricks to get the wisps? I can barely find all of them. Unfortunately, for now, it's just like a log in, log out. So if you're finding it hard or difficult to find them, just log out, refresh the whole world set, and go to a different location first. And then technically you should be able to find a moat. And thank you for mentioning those, because I need to use Orangle's, or sorry, the Pensiv's Cloak from Orlick to find something in here. So I'm going to switch over to Spirit and utilize a Spirit build on the King first. Garen Rude, relatively good with Spirit, I would say. Still very good at Magic User, Druid of Iridus build. This will boost the efficiency of Behest, rendering them weakened with lowered defenses. The Righteous is also the passive you want to go for, regaining Arcanic power to cast Behest more quickly. So basically, the higher Spirit you have, the more you strip armor, the more damage you crap out on enemies. It's great. I think with Heal Heart, you can refresh this on your rune recharge to speed up recharge times. And it's also heal while your rune recharges, basically. I think this is what's slightly broken in Torment once again. It's supposed to return healing to you when you one-punch an enemy, basically. So I'll see if I can take a bit more damage and then hopefully not die. Times a day? Indeed they do. Let's have a look. If you have a look down the bottom right of the UI, if you're wondering what these little elliptical lines are underneath your virtues, it's your weapon experience bar on the bottom right, and then on the left is your Pact experience bar, basically. So you'll see those filling up slightly over time. Hello, sir. Behest is relatively good. If you force aim and punch them in the head, you basically life return and life steal to you. But it also just one-shots most things. It is a percentile-based attack, I think. Basically, the more health that enemy has, the more damage output Torment does. So the less health they have, less damage output, basically. I don't know why I just went in a circle, but that's what it's like in my brain half the time, so you're welcome. How would you describe the recommended minimum setup to feel ready for Koga? I mean, as soon as you've got Bromius, I would probably say at least having a rank 10 Bromius would be useful, at least. I would probably, it depends on how you want to build him. He's very, very good at utilizing Spirit, Grace, and Courage. I just keep in mind that Grace is just very good at what it does with the armor, but also the ability of Song of Growth in tandem with the Bark Bear passive of Bromius. I would probably put more points into Sapphine's Gift and Mora's Pride first, around leveling up Bark Bear. Chance to stealing armor strength from targets on every attack is very useful. It's boosting your armor efficiency, essentially. So if I run a full Bromius with, say, a very, very good scaling Orangle's armor chest piece, or Maester's Furbelow at least, and then tying that in with more of Orangle's set, it will give you a much more effective build out on Blooming Bodkin with the +6 totem or talisman. I just use the old naming conventions. You can use the Triune Talisman, that's not a problem if you do have that one as well. The Dire Skull would also be more than sufficient as well. The higher grace scaling that I have, the better off I'll be for the longevity of the Song of Growth. I would highly recommend using Flyblades, because every tick damage that Bromius does when you've got Song of Growth active, it basically steals armor and gives it to us, which is really nice. Some prime examples of relatively fun builds to utilize these sorts of systems is probably a Sword and Board with the Durglint rune. This is basically a giant laser beam. It steals health back. I would probably say too, you can increase your smite chances and you can do the spreading sploot if you wish to. The Bandicoot Blast is useful. However, you do have the opportunity to use a totem that reduces the draft dam. It reduces the drain on the rune that's being activated. So basically it says to this rune, you can last longer and do more damage output, basically. I can probably even run the Lightweight with the double bleed that I had. That one seems to be quite effective. I think it's this one. Yeah. Durglin is just really nice. It just steals a whole bunch of armor, but also running any sort of decent Flyblade. If you orbit around Bromius with that and you use Webbit Roots, the second ability, it just holds them and you just steal armor. Don't mind the hyper green. I call this my Shrek build. Built to last, and I love my swamps. Rank 30 Bromius, try to farm maths to get Rat Mummy to rank 2. I would probably say go to your faction and go pick up a color palette and craft that with Verminia. That should help get you the Koga rank 2 with Verminia. And that's why I recommend pretty much everyone who's ranking their factions, pick up your color palette as a free reward to craft with Verminia. That's how to help boost her rank. You can certainly craft potions, yes, but it is the color palette creation itself that actually boosts her to rank 2. You go away, do a quest with her, it's like really small. You come back and she'll say, welcome to Koga. As long as you've gotten some agaric mushrooms and webbit sap, you can start crafting potions for 30 minutes and you can jump into Koga. You need 4 of that to craft the color palette. Yeah, they're from like Etheldread and some of the spider tile sets. It's the bile sacs from the little Manuki Pauk. Sorry, small spiders. That's where you get the bile sacs from the Neithans tile sets. You can also get webbit sap from the Neithans as well. And you also get the Neith caps, which are a beneficial material to pick up as well for potion crafting, I believe, as well. But that's how to get bile sacs. Just go hit up Neithans tile sets, go beat up Kabocha, go into Neithans, and like repeat, basically. So you can focus farm certain materials for sure. Bromius, very good. You cast number 3, and these guys can hit you, and basically they do absolutely nothing to you. This is what Bromius is built for, built to last. You can see the stagger bar like slowly increasing underneath the health bar, but as soon as I start casting, like my this spin around orbiting flyblades, it will actually give you an indicator of glowing gold around Bromius that we're stealing armor and applying that to ourselves. It's quite effective, and then just throw a flyblade in their face and they're done, basically. You can take all of that power though, and essentially push that back at an enemy, basically. There's a couple of ways of doing that. Durglin does it really well. I think Crab on YouTube has got a really good YouTube short on the build to be able to enhance that. I don't really one-shot a lot of stuff with Bromius. I just like to last, and this is exactly what Bromius is built for, is to last. He's a very, very good pact, but also has the efficiency of damage output, mostly through rune weapon use for the most part. So you can steal health back from enemies, which is very nice as well. And you're constantly stealing on every single hit. You're stealing health back, but also armor. But the thing is, if you don't have Song of Growth active and you have no buffs active, you are at risk of basically being like one hit, basically. So that's what Song of Growth does on a grace-based build. Awesome. And we do have the Mendicant King. I love this fight. He's very, very good. He's talking about turning us into a Mendicant. I reckon this is Grandfather, to be honest. I really do. Alright. Bring it on, bud. It's unfortunate for him and his minions because there's about 3 different bells that are here. Which is kind of nice. Throwing shields are very, very strong too. If you aim for the head, you can do damage on recall, but you can also do a really, really strong headshot to enemies as well. So if you get them in the right spot, generally, you can dish out some really good damage too. Alright, buddy. And let's do some laser beams. So basically we can just stand here and just steal life from him, basically, and just give ourselves a lot more armor output back to the Envoy as well, which is quite good. And we can activate all the bells at once with Rump Thump. It's very good. And I'm also utilizing Pictrix as well, which is a Koga variant Flyblade. It's extremely strong. Captain America move? Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, it's very good. That's why I like using it. It's very good. Okay. Come on, bud. Up here. Come on. This guy is quite fun to farm for experience, I would say, too. This is basically like a different kind of experience leveling, basically. Most melee weapons of glideboats have that if you take the perfect throw weapon art. Indeed. Perfect throw is very good though. Can I have that soul, please? Thanks. There we go. The Bandicoot Blast is stupendously good. The area of effect is quite phenomenal. Alright, bud. Give me a life. Yeah, let's just fry him a little bit more. Make sure he's real cooked. But yeah, that's Durglin in a nutshell. I do take advantage of the tempers on this particular shield. It's not the most powerful, but it is certainly effective with an enhanced chance to add bleed damage on hit. So essentially the weapon is pushing that onto Durglin, and then I'm taking benefit of bleed damage as well, which is pretty nice. Hey look, is this a Moonsteel shiny? God damn it. Oh, I was hoping it's going to be... No, I guess I can't show off too much in one stream, can I? I mean, the lightweight mendicant sets are pretty good. If they have bleed tempers, like, they're very good. So I would probably start farming at least some weapons of each, like, origin type, and save some of them at least for the new systems that are coming through with Tubal Carne. We've got up to, I think, roughly 5 different styles or origins of weapons. You've certainly got the Ode style, which give you more of, say, like the silver borderlines like Calp and Galvanic Strike, etc. Any of the tempers that don't have borders, I'm assuming, are going to be part of the new swap out, swap in system that we'll be getting with the tempers. We also have Dendrite style weapon tempers, like Enkindled as an example. There's a lot of different tempers. Renewed Slayer is also another specialty one. Ode, what else have we got? We got the Dendrites, we got Fakin. Sympathy Pang is very good for damage infliction from attacks will spread to another, so it's generally one other enemy that's in very close proximity. We've got the Dendrite, Fakin, Ode, and then we've also got Cassid and Mendicant style weapons of origin. The Mendicant ones are quite good, I have to admit that. Like the Bleed Damage and the Sinister Volley is quite good. If I was going to go caster build with Bromius, as an example, a Spirit class would be very, very good. I do have the Erst and I have built this one from like absolute scratch. Where is the Erst? Come to my eyes. If I can find you. Casty weapon? Somewhere? Am I blind? There's just too many weapons in here. I really wish that we could do like sort by grip type. I think that'd be handy as well as a filtration system. Erstrud, where are you? There we are. I built this one from scratch up to a legendary. I have put a spirit-based joiner on there. It does have a double enhanced savagery for bleed damage on hit. Unnerving blow is chance to inflict fear on enemies on hit. It also gives me increased smite, swinging blow, follow up for extra consecutive like damage on every hit after a heavy attack. It does give me stagger damage, like mitigation when I'm blocking, and it also gives me Calp, which is the, I think it's like a chance to, yeah, double stagger damage, which is quite good. So I'm actually very pleased with this particular build. And no, I'm not interested in trading it. Maybe not yet. The Unnerving Blow and Arcane Rebound, like specifics tempers for the magic weapons, are also like sensational. The Arcane Clarity is absolutely something I want on this particular weapon, for the reason being its magic heavies attack charge more quickly. So as far as like Bromius goes, I would definitely say, as far as like a minimum setup to get ready for Koga, I guess it depends on what kind of armor that you have access to. I mean, the Tempest Leathers would be okay if it's a grace-based build, but it really just depends on what kind of armor that you have. I would probably say use this more in a spirit build. Don't use it on a grace-based. it's a bit counterintuitive, this particular armor set, because its virtue requirement is 17 points of grace, but it has more icons of spirit. So it doesn't make sense to me. So basically, this armor scales better with spirit, but it needs 17 points of grace virtue points at your prism to utilize the usefulness of this armor. But that being said, if you have Pensive's Cloak, or you've completed all the chapters with Orlick, you're in a much better spot just to use his armor anyway, because it scales with every single virtue in the game. I'd probably say like a mendicant set would be pretty good if you have access to all the pieces. Regalia of Garen Rude, I do understand it's probably a little bit different now because of the Spirits of Ikor and the Vadagar beasts. They only really spawn through votives or at nighttime, so they may not be efficient farming on this one anymore. Your Cicada armor would be sufficient for physical damage mitigation. I would just be mindful of magical damage outputs from enemies. You won't have that much armor against magic. Regent Shell, it does scale with both courage and spirit quite equally. So if you're running like a courage spirit caster build, Lady Diora is quite a good build, and I generally run that on this particular Ode Tempest, basically. I have been playing around with it, but you can easily split scale between spirit and courage, and you could effectively use actually Lady Diora's set quite comfortably, I would say. Relatively good. Predominantly it is courage based, but you can honestly split it between both, which is not too bad, and you get a pretty even spread between these two. Relatively good amount of health. Knight of Paladin, you can take a really nice decent like courage based weapon and still utilize some of the casting weapons quite effectively. So you can be like a spell sword warrior mage tank kind of thing. Not bad stats. I mean, they're not amazing, but they're not the worst. So you've got a little bit of everything. If you can push courage a little bit more, and you've got courage potions as an example, you'll be in a relatively good spot. You don't have to run like Ode Tempest, basically. You can certainly chuck that onto Bromius, not a problem. And it will change your stat boost as well, but it just depends on what kind of points that you've actually got in these particular nodes as well. So I could respec this entire build and maximize spirit, and I would get a much higher efficiency of spirit-based back. So that's to kind of show you what the virtue systems do to scale armor up in the game. Spirit isn't the best of scaling for armor. Grace, I would arguably say, is the best. And then Tethrin, or like courage, and then spirit to a degree. And that's just on armor. That's not stepping into damage at all. So armor's been limited, yeah. Envoy 10, have a lot of range stuff leveled, and have Grace Armor and Pensives. Grace Armor and Pensives? I mean, that should work, essentially. I mean, if you got... Can you give me, like, the specifics on the armor that you've got? Grace Armor and Pensives. Is it this one? The Tempest Leathers that you have? Or Pensives as well? Your Pensives can work, absolutely. It definitely can. So as a base minimum setup, if you've got all of Pensive set, you would be in a relatively good spot, but you do need to scale it predominantly with spirit to be able to get a better armor rating overall. So it really just kind of depends how you want to run that, I think. Is the shield the only weapon with mini game like that? How do you mean like mini game? As in like the Durglint rune? I'm just running through my like brain. Yeah, do you mean, I'm not really sure. Mini game. How do you mean mini game? I think, I mean, you could run, I guess, like a Spirit Grace build if you're running like this sort of build, basically, with Bromius. It'd give you roughly about 105, depending on like your overall leveling. You don't really have all that much like health, essentially, but if you've got a relatively healthy amount of grace, If you have the +6 talisman, useful. It's not really going to matter all that much. You can definitely take Orangor's Fang for a little bit more of a boost, because this particular armor set really likes virtue requirements of spirit. So it really just depends on like the weapon choice, if you like. Does account level give you anything? Yes. Virtue points. Fundamentally very good to level your account, and that's all done by ranking all of your weapons up to rank 30 and all of your packs that you have to bond 30. That all contributes to your overall account level. Very much so. I would not get rid of any weapon until you've absolutely maxed it to rank 30, so you get that guaranteed experience gain before you move on. That helps. Sounds like I should start trying to get that and see how it is. Yeah. Definitely, like Orangor's Fang, like a lot of the talismans, I feel a lot of people don't really, or may not have the awareness that they actually give you a boosted virtue point, and they most certainly can achieve better armor outputs at lower level accounts, or at least just not great armor. It can actually really help boost you, as long as you are boosting these virtue stats in here as well. So say, for example, if I don't want to use more damage returns to enemies, I can actually reset my whole entire pact. I can boost Barkbear, no problem, but I would start with 1 point here, so at least I access these 3 cheese. And depending on the enhancement of what I want to enhance, you can most certainly just build these all alongside each other. So you put 6 points in each of these nodes, and that translates all of those points, 6 per node in all of these, over to your virtues. So now you can see I've got 123 points, not like 114 like what it was before, because it's adding more points to spirit, and this armor likes a virtue requirement of spirit. So the more points I have, the better off I'll be with armor. And the same goes for weaponry as well. But really look at the virtue requirement of what it likes and work with that. It's the same thing with joineries. Even though Skilter has a virtue requirement of courage, Flyblades and bows inherently really like Grace. Grace is extremely strong for headshot multipliers, unawareness factors, and so forth. If you get headshots with a bow, and it's even simple like a thistle, if you have a 3 thrice blessed by Safine, blessed joinery with Grace, put that onto a bow and tell me what it's like on a fully charged shot when you hit an enemy in the head. You will see much bigger numbers because of it. Scaling with like Grace is just stupendously good. It does not mean that you must run a Grace-based build all the time, though. That's not what I'm saying. It's just, it takes advantage of the tools of what Grace gives an Envoy. There's a lot of different benefits to running hybrid builds, for sure, but getting comfortable in running a full Grace setup or a full Courage setup is very beneficial, because Courage basically gives you more tanky health. You can survive and take more hits, depending on what kind of armor you have. So if I run this Courage build, and I change my weapons as well, but I don't change my armor, you can see now my survivability goes down to almost nothing. Even though I'm wearing a really, really good set of armor, I'm not fulfilling the requirement of this particular setup. But if I have the +6 talisman, it will shift a few of my points around. Not a problem. But that's also what the buff potions are very, very good at, useful with these sorts of setups as well. Yes, I can put that Grace Talisman on, but I still only meet the requirements of certain weaponry. I'm not meeting requirements, technically, until I actually meet them by utilizing another tool in the game, like a talisman, to boost my armor output as well. But, again, I may meet the requirements because of the buffs, but because of the way that I utilize the virtue towards courage, my armor will only change once I start telling the Prism, hey, I've got more Grace now, you can do more defenses, I'm wearing this armor that likes Grace, I've got this on too, and now it actually works. So the same deal, if I go over here, I must tell the Prism, hey, I've got courage, do you? Yes, okay. Have I gotten a really good piece of armor that shows a lot of courage? It does. Okay, great. Now I can put that on. Oh my gosh, I have a lot more armor in the game. Now I can actually tank hits and be a true tank within the game, which is excellent. So it doesn't really matter, like, it does matter, but it doesn't. But if you're leveling an Envoy, just stick with the rules of virtue requirement meets X, Y, and Z. If I need courage, do courage. If I want spirit, spirit. Inherently, that's what your loadout slots are for. You can make a like Mora's Hand or Bromius build in Courage, Spirit, and Grace, and then you can do Orangor, Courage, Spirit, Grace, and so forth. I'm sure that you guys get what I mean there. But basically, that's in simple terms, like that's essentially what the systems are built for, is to interact with one another and be able to build your Envoy, because technically your Envoy is your weapon. These weapons are just like extensions of what the Envoy and the Prism systems actually do. So that's why your account leveling is so important, because the more points you have here to spend, the more damage output and the big PP numbers you'll see. So yes, it is beneficial to rank all of your weapons to max 30. Yes, it is important to rank your pact up to rank 32, because inherently, yeah, it may suck, but you'll actually be able to get much better damage output if you follow those rules of thumb with the virtue requirements. So yeah, I just like to keep it simple. I'm not going to fluff around. I'm not going to, you know, say, this is how many cap points that you need to get soft cap, blah, blah, blah. Yes, they're present in the game. It's just not something I step into. I would rather just give you quick, easy information that's easy for you to understand. Cool, boom, 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 done. And if you want to like know deeper mechanics of it, sure, like I'm happy to talk about that too. But I'm realistic. Like I would probably say like there's a mixed player base of age groups. I think there's a lot of people out there who are just like, I don't understand why my armor's not working. Well, if you're running a Courage like hybrid, like Grace build like this, you're going to have shitty armor, basically, because you're not telling the system, hey, I've got maximum rank, I've got to have more armor, I'm not surviving enough, I don't have enough health, but I'm trying to run a spirit build. That's why you're not meeting the requirements of the Arbearer's Pauncher at all, basically. But I am, because I have a virtue boost on as well. So I hope that makes sense in that sense of, you know, I've got a +6 talisman. If I take that away, essentially it will remove that armor requirement, basically. So yeah, it's just those sorts of elements in the game. Like there's plenty of tools to take advantage of, but it's just making sure that you refresh your UI at the moment, because it's not actually going to reflect what's actuality happening in the game. So jump out of UI, jump back in, and check your requirements before you leave. Yes, it's an extra step, but it actually makes and saves you time coming back later, or just being one hit by a boss because you don't understand, oh, why isn't this actually changing? Because the virtue requirement isn't being met. But I can easily just switch that back on, and I should be able to meet that requirement, but that's not being reflected at the moment. It's just the syncing issue between account and the database. So if I refresh now, it should be active with the proper amount of virtue requirements being met for that particular armor type, and I'm on spirit as well. So I've got courage on the actual armor, but it's not scaling properly because it's not meeting the requirement or meeting spirit. So I do need to put an armor on that is spirit virtue requirement, and therefore I have an absolute crap load more of armor and I'm in a much better spot health wise technically because I've got the defenses to match. So that helps. Sounds like I should start trying it out and see how it does. Yeah, for sure. And I mean, that's why I like jumping in and doing the live stuff too. So, you know, I can pretty much just, you know, chuck all this up on YouTube. It's not going to be anything fancy. It's literally probably just going to replicate this and just chuck it up on YouTube, to be honest, because all the information is there for you guys to take on. And, you know, feedback on my end is, you know, worthwhile. So I am just kind of dipping my toes in like the editorial kind of stuff. And look, there's lots of really good creators who make really, really great videos, and they've got lots of like great information too. So I think I just really enjoy doing it live because I find it's easier for me to iterate the information when I'm standing technically in front of people rather than just like sitting here and be like, I don't know. I just feel like it's easier naturally when I'm talking like with someone rather than actually sitting there in front of a camera being like, oh, okay, I've got to follow the script. That's just really boring to me. It just, yeah, I know it gives a framework, but I work really well on the fly, and I know that. So that's what works for me anyway. So I think what I'll do is probably wrap stream. I know it's been 3 hours, but I do like to take health breaks and all that sort of stuff. So I would probably potentially do more, but I think it's time for me to wrap up and get some sunshine and go for a walk and recharge. I may potentially be back this afternoon. I haven't worked out a schedule for this week just yet for stream. This was just very impromptu, but Asbeb and TV and friends who rated in earlier. I really just wanted to do like a bit more of like a breakdown session for you guys, so it saves you guys time in the game, but also gives you fundamental tools to actually look forward to and get a little bit more of a thorough understanding as to why the account level is appropriate, to being able to dish out damage output, and especially with the packs too, and just to showcase that there are multifaceted builds available to you. You can make anything in the game work. Some things just work better, and there's certain rules that you need to follow, and virtual requirements would be that one, for sure. So but overall, I really hope it's been beneficial for you guys, and you've enjoyed the I guess like the tour of MIdrath and just what, like, how I see things in the game as well. So yeah, there's plenty more to work on, like feedback wise, and just catching up with you guys in chat and just sharing the information. So yeah, awesome. Very good. I'm glad. Yeah, thank you, Skrollock. Oh, thank you. Sneaky. I had a feeling you'd be sneaky around there, Skrollock. If you guys haven't met Skrollock, please go say hi to him. He's also a very avid Soulframe content creator, I'd say too. You've got some great stuff on YouTube, so go check that out as well. So yeah, my pleasure. Thank you for joining. I hope you guys have really enjoyed. Maybe I should just change the channel to like smooth radio, considering that I listen to really chill music. And just, I like talking and I like iterating the information. I think it's been a really healthy overall conversation today. I think it's good because there's so many of us that operate differently and see things differently in the game. And I think it's good to have that healthy conversation of like, hey, you know, I like this, or I don't really like this for this reason, you know? So it's just what makes the game better. So, Hector, I'm going to assume. Thank you very much. I will, Skrellock, I will. You know I will. You know I'll come down and say hi and stream and co-op as well. We should go for another co-op run, actually. I showed people the smart mechanics that we were pulling out. Holy fuckballs. I said seal in French once again. Yeah, I showed chat last night the co-op run that we did with the Bandicoot Blast Totem. I really feel like that's actually giving a lot more issues in the game than what we anticipated. It's giving a little bit more of a stop progressional lock on activating runes and pull smites. I think it's multi-layering. It's kind of like a multi-layered cake in that sense on the pull smites at the moment. I was talking about it with Tegster actually earlier. Oh, we got good vibrations happening in chat. Look at the water. Holy, we're on a good vibe and wavelength apparently. Is it listening? Is the music like playing, making the game respond? I haven't changed any graphical things in the game. Apparently we've got good vibrations in the Nightfold here. That's pretty dope though. Yo, it even changes color? No way. This actually happened last night. That's pretty cool. You just buzzing? Yeah, totally. Yeah, we're all buzzing today. Look at that. Who was, I can't remember who said it this last night. This actually happened again last night in stream. One of the peeps in chat, they were like, oh, fucking rich people. I'm like, hey, I got a free spa in the Nightfold. I forgot to turn the jets on with the magical changing lights. Sorry. Yeah. Music player visual. That's what I'm thinking. Like, is it drawing off like the music that I'm playing somehow external to the game? If it is, that's a pretty cool quality of life feature. Let's have that added into the game. Actually, that would be nice. And there's been some really good feedback, like suggestions too. So honestly, if you guys have got feedback, no matter how big or small, like just chuck it in the feedback forum of the Soulframe Discord. It's really worthwhile. Just while I'm thinking that, I'm just gonna like pop a few. I'm gonna spam link you guys in chat. It should be very helpful, I hope. There are a lot of links there. I do understand that, but they are very beneficial. Oh yeah, we got a new. That's so cool. I'm gonna clip that. Chill music, smooth vibes in the Nightfold. We do have a whole bunch of links in chat, but basically it's just, if you haven't signed your save up, do so. I would highly recommend creating your account through the Soulframe website. If those links don't take you directly to Soulframe, please let me know. They should be active But basically, there's the Discord, the Twitch, and YouTube as well. The reason why I say sign yourself up for Discord, at least for the notifications for the patch notes that drop, that's generally the first port of call where I figure out and know, okay, something in the game is coming, let's go do that. So I will jump in and I will do patch notes before every single update or hotfix. Reason being is because it gives me the structure and framework to actually come and do the live streams as well. And I know what I can look for to test and see, is this actually working? If it's not, then I get to give feedback and say, actually, this isn't working. Or it's just to kind of cross-reference and see what the team are actually actively looking at. I think I was doing that the other morning. I think Sam and Landon were both in the hotfix, and people were like, hey, we're trying this isn't working, or this isn't working. So it's very early morning, but it was just kind of, you know, helping other like players, just like, hey, like, are you good? Verify your account. You know, I would highly recommend doing a verification before entering the game after every single hotfix, every single major update as well, because it helps a lot. So Pegasus, I love that name. Say hi to me. Hello. I'm talking. I'll get to you. I won't miss you. Don't worry. Attention to me. I should definitely give a sort of redeem if you're not feeling seen. I see you. Don't worry. Beowulf Khan 1. I'm not really sure how to say that name, but thank you very much for the follow. That's very dope. And Pegasus as well. Thank you for the follow. Drink some water. Oh my god. Yes, they are. You talked to... Yeah, I have. Thank you, Epic. I know. Jesus Christ. I've still got like my Tiger Nut Latte, an unbranded stream by Miscellaneous Coffee. I have spoken a lot today, and I do have my giant water vessel here, but I just really enjoy, like, just, yeah, sharing all the information. Apparently the good vibes in Nightfold. We have, I don't know, super crazy laser music beam things happen. I don't know why this is happening in the Nightfold, but I'm okay with it. But thank you, yeah. In Soulframe, I look like Lost. What are you lost in? I'm coming in from Warframe. Welcome, LR6. Holy shit. I'm LR5, so I definitely feel you on that. I think I'm about 4,500 hours in Warframe. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm thinking. Like, there's a whole pattern in, you know. We can clip this. We can send that to Sam and Landon in the Discord. Be like, yo, we were having some pretty smooth vibes in chat today, and this is actually what happened. It actually looks like the Nightfold's responding to the conversation and the music. It'd be kind of funny if one of the like dudes, like the devs, were just sitting there like, yo, let's fuck with the water. Oh wow, you've started Soulframe. You're uber early. Look, I'd probably say Soulframe kind of gives you the concept idea very similar to Warframe. It's kind of just chucks you in and it's like, go and do all of your mainline quests. I would honestly say, rule of thumb, do your Orlix quest, but what I would recommend when you... Okay, so what? Wait, we are not in the dungeon? Incorrect. What's this showing? Hang on, bear with me. Oh, this is showing the Robgot ruins. Okay, that'll go in feedback after stream. What's going on, game? I don't want to leave the Nightfold because it looks so freaking cool. Oh, look, we've got brown noise now. We've just shifted from white noise to brown noise. Oh, this is awesome. Try to do all the quests. You open all the maps. Go and touch the world trees. I would show you the world map, but unfortunately, the game doesn't want to show the actual map. It's showing me the Robgot ruins instead. I could exit the Nightfold, but I don't really want to yet because I'm enjoying the visuals in the Nightfold. And it kind of looks like Tuval Kane is like dishing up the like tunes as well. Like she's disc jockeying behind me. Maybe she's secretly like a DJ and we have no idea. So we're like ruining her vibe every time that she has to turn around. She's like, oh, for Christ's sake, you're back. All right, I got some sick tunes happening in the Nightfold. Like, can you just leave me alone? The map by Orlick works. The map by Orlick. Oh yeah, it does too. Yeah, but if I move... Oh, all right, I'll move. Oh. Oh, look. Oh my god, it changed again. What the frick? Okay, we're back at white noise. Sweet lord. What is this? This is magical. Yo, that's so sweet. Alright, I'm definitely putting this up into a short. Why not? It's pretty cool. I have to admit, every single, like, silly thing that I put up on YouTube, like, people have actually been really enjoyed. Like, I think, what was it? There's over near Fort Kernhold. Have you guys, like, tried Romus's Rum Thump from the very top of the peak of the mountain and jump down? It actually works. Just cast Song of Growth before you do it. It'll save you from dying. You don't have this bugs on your game? Well, to be honest, I do run my internet connection through like a Wi-Fi, so probably not ideal. But yes. Oh my god, my map isn't working?
The Envoy must focus.
Okay, that's gonna be a redeem. Thanks, creepy baby. Look at him. Yes, my lord. Dark Sith, indeed. He actually looks like he's got even more detail on his like little robe thing too. He's growing in power, you can tell. This is part of what I was like mentioning with Orlick though. Like to get his set, you do have to complete chapter 1 and 2. It's quite a lot of requirements, but it's well worth doing. I can absolutely guarantee. All right, I'll see you later, Mr. ADHD.
Let the lay guide you.
Well, the lay can guide me, but your map is being useless. So I'll dip out the Nightfold, it should fix it. Maybe my game will crash? No. Oh, that's why it's pulling the map. I'm not in the open world, that's why. Alright, we'll jump out of here and I'll show you what I'm talking about with the more like the progressional pathway of what I would do if I was going to start Soulframe again. I'll give you a few tips. Who's our Lotus? No one, technically. I guess Grandfather could be. But we don't necessarily, it's a completely different storyline. Like, Warframe is completely different to Soulframe in that sense. I'd probably say lore-wise, our mother is stuck up in the Sky Castle. So we'll probably be finding her within the next major update, which is War Songs. A Preludes fable called War Songs. I've just got to get to a safe ground location so I don't get attacked, but I can show you what I would probably do if I was going to enter Soulframe again. Damn it, I do have to exit Koga, but anyway, I can show you inherently. There's a world tree here, so when you first start out, you're at Grandpa's hut, you go through all of that, pick your pack, etc., run around here, you cross the bridge, you come over here and you shit your pants when you see Nimrod. Basically, it will take you to the College of Pensives. There are some moats around there. I would highly recommend collecting them all. If you only get a few, that's okay. At least you're a step up. They do go against or add to your account level, essentially. If you come over to this crop of trees, there's an Avocot here, and he will always be here. He has a shop with materials. You may not have enough money at the moment, but this is one location where he will always be in the game. Another location he is at is relatively north above the Garen's Shrine, I believe. It's roughly around here without having the icons in front of me, unfortunately. But I would highly recommend when you go visit Avocot, go and touch the idol that's next to him, just up the little hill area. So the town's here, and there's stairs coming down from the tower after you finish Orlick's quest. Just come up here and you'll find Avocot, and you'll find a little idol for the Juniper Bow. I think it actually drops fully crafted now, if I'm not mistaken. After you finish the little stuff with Grandfather, you do receive a fragment of the Juniper Bow, and then the last fragment is up past Curlau. So this is Curlau, this is the Fort Kernhold, or Curlau, sorry. You do have another world tree here as well, so I'd recommend touching this world tree. So we'll open up this area for you, and there's a third idol in this lake area. Just go and touch the idol there, and it should give you the Juniper Bow. It's very, very good. Very early on too. It's a very strong weapon. So there's a world tree here, but also you can ignore Orlick if you want to. Run around this like pathway down here and just come and touch this world tree. And that will open up most of this area, and this will become very relevant to you because you're very early on in this area. I would be doing that and grab this world tree. I can tell because there's like certain things on the game map. If you scroll in, you can actually see like silver roots. That's what a world tree looks like on the map. So I would come up and touch this world tree, and basically it will open up like quite a large portion of the map for you, and that's where you can start doing all of your different tile sets. Basically, you do have access to the Nethan's tile sets, although you potentially can get your ass whooped by a boss. But there's no point in coming up here because you won't be able to access Nethan's until you complete the Fableware quest, the Wastebed quest, basically. But for the most part, you'll be going through like Orlix quest, Rise Envoy, Torment Stag, and then you'll be doing the Steel Singer to get to Vulcane, and then you'll be doing Brew of Hughes. So basically, that will open up most of the different map area, depending on what like faction you start with. If you start with Tedrin, you'll be coming here to the Kith of Kings, which is this giant front flat rock area. The entrance is right here, and then you've got Salzbrim just up here, and then you've got the Silent Rose faction entry here, and you have automatic access to your faction as well. So Siren, you can come here first and access the faction. If you choose a Shelder, this is Ulmul or Hillyden is just over here. There's 2 entrances to the Alka's Children faction. If you have and picked up the Sengelia, that is the flower that you have to offer the little idol for Alka's Children to be able to access Alka's Children. Even if you're in a Shelder user, that's just a requirement. All factions have a small requirement to enter, and then you can start building your faction rep basically as well. So that's what I would be doing if I was entering Soulframe. In and around all of that, I would be material farming essentially and doing your dungeon runs, gaining experience, maxing your weapons and your packs up to rank 30. And once you hit that rank 30 cap, you will start doing more damage output with that particular equipment. So if you're leveling from like level 1 bow, etc. to rank 30, you're going to have to go through the growth process of getting more damage output. One last thing before I wrap up. If you come across, and you will come across joineries, even if it's a 1 like joinery attunement, put this onto your weapon, but I would recommend doing it either while you're leveling or once it's maxed rank, because then that weapon after rank 30, even when it is needing to be re-ranked to rank 30, you basically have access to all of its damage output basically because you've leveled it to rank 30, and then it will cycle through again. Rule of thumb with joineries on your weapons, utilize Grace on all bows, even if it's Avex. Avex is a slightly different story, but I still choose to use Grace because of the headshot multipliers and what I've mentioned with Grace. Your bows take best advantage of it. Spirit, for your spirit caster weapons, absolutely. For your courage weapons, you most certainly can use courage, not a problem. If they do have a secondary virtue requirement, you can switch and build between a courage like spirit caster, a grace courage user, and courage grace user, etc. But just utilizing most of the stuff that I've talked about, just play it your way and see what works for you at the end of the day. Don't take my word as God, like it's not necessarily. There's still lots of things I'm learning in the game too, so. But just with the virtue requirements, the very top icon, follow that rule of thumb with the joineries. And the higher level that you have in your virtue requirements, the better off you'll be with damage output. Joineries just enhance the virtues that you lean into, and essentially they're just applied to your weapon. It's your envoy that is your weapon at the end of the day. So attack lock-in in Soulframe. There is soft lock mechanics, yeah, for your magic weapons, yes. Oh yeah, hello. Wrap up, nice timing. Yeah, I know, you're late. What do you want me to say it like Albrecht? You are late. You forgot about the duello armor? I didn't forget. Don't interrupt me. No, I'm kidding. No, I didn't. I never forget things. It's just what you're thinking of, and it's not aligning with what I'm talking about, but I do understand what you're saying. Yes, there are a lot of armors in the game. Absolutely. Have you tried my trick with these yet, Thyarch? I hope you have. And we've already covered those sets. It's like you said, it's wrap-up time. You missed most of what we talked about, Thyarch. The full mockery set? Oh, well, the full mockery set is good, but I have let everyone know too, it does scale better with spirit, not necessarily grace as it should, unfortunately. So, yeah. You farmed? Yeah, nice. the same in lock-on. Its paths are based on where you're aiming. Ish, yes and no. Your controller aim assist is essentially what helps with ground finishes on your auto soft locking. It depends on the soft lock itself. If it wants to choose a particular thing to aim at, it just means that there's something coded for that lock on to actually say, oh, that's actually a target, let's go attack that. It's not necessarily going to lock on to the enemy that's directly in front of you either. And that is going to shift and change all the time as well. Through some of the preludes, yes, it does tend to like switch between enemies very quickly at points, but sometimes it will just attack a random box or a barrel and you'll be like, what the hell? I think in the Endless Glade, it does actually lock onto some of the trees. I'm not sure why. Apparently there's some sort of attack point in those trees that the auto-locking system, specifically more so for your magic casting weapons, it tends to just really want to eat all of your projectiles. So it's a bit strange. But do keep in mind too, like you can easily force aim as well with your block mechanic keybind. So just if you really want to take actual control, you can force aim your abilities. And you can also do that with heavy attacks too, with magic weapons. And on full charged heavy shots, they will crap out damage as well. So, oh, you farmed is what you meant. Oh, okay, got you. Yeah. It's passive based on where you're aiming. Not necessarily, no. You can certainly like force aim and soft lock. It basically auto aims for the most part, but you can most certainly take control of it and force aim, not a problem. And that will actually do a lot more damage as well. But if you've got multiple enemies near you, this is what your soft lock mechanic will do. It really just depends on where your reticle invisibly is being aimed as well. So there's definitely ways that you can force aim your auto targeting system. I wouldn't say it's passive at all. For the most part, it's autopilot, correct, but you can force aim as well. If you want to try reverse camera mechanics, sometimes I do actually find that that's far more accurate, but that's stepping into a different field. It's not necessarily auto targeting. So yes, there is auto targeting in the game, but there is ways to take control of it, very much so. If you're not using controller, this is confusing for people, but if you don't have this turned on, you won't be able to basically lock onto an enemy while they're grounded or like lying on the ground for a ground finisher. That's what essentially this does. Other than that, yeah, it really depends on how accurate your auto targeting wants to be. But yeah, it will get confoodled at points too. It's not perfect. It's still developing. So you can absolutely take great advantage of the auto systems for sure. So predominantly on magic arts for sure. So yeah, it just depends on I guess speed of like your internet at points too. Just it locking on and actually activating auto targeting as well. So all right, you guys have squeezed some extra time out of me, I see. Well played, sirs and ladies and people of all levels. All right, I'm done. All right, I will send you guys in with love though. I like doing raids, to be honest. So, massive thank you to all of you as well for hanging out as well. So, that being said, let's have a look at who we can raid. Oh, Lily's in. Nice. And I promise I will drink this giant vat of water because I actually am really parched. What we got in Soulframe? Who are we gonna like go do a nice surprise to? I like playing this game. Love it. All right. Here's my amazing, amazing raid message. Thank you, Scroller. You too. Yeah, it's 11:25 a.m. here, but if you're on later, let me know. Just throw me a message. I'll come say hi and hang. I wish you were live because I would raid in on you, to be honest. You know how much I have. Muchos gracias to you as well. All right. What we'll do, I'm going to send you guys over to De nada. Gracias. How do I say you're welcome? De nada? Yeah. See? De nada? Yeah. All right. Ah, uh-huh. Thanks. Okay. So Donato is okay, sweet. Thank you. Gracias. All right. We're gonna go in and raid on Goody Goods. I think he'll enjoy this. I don't know if he's anticipating this. I guess he's a little bit more talkative than I am in a way. I'm very focused on the game, as you guys know. But also I live under a rock half the time. So I'm gonna enjoy my lukewarm, unsponsored cafe latte with tiger nut milk. I am going to read into Goody Goods. He is a very avid player of Soulframe 2. He looks like he's on the Moonsteel train, trying to get those shinies, but I think I'm kind of beating him to it. So that's my little competitive side coming out. But I really hope that you guys enjoy your time with Goody Goods. He's good quality. He's good fun. So we'll go say hi to Goody Goods. I'll hang for a little bit, but I am going to just rehydrate myself because I certainly need to. But thank you very much for joining. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I will see you guys probably later in the week, if not tomorrow, but I will be keeping an eye out on the Discord as well. And if you haven't joined, please do. Any feedback, big or small, please give that to the devs. It makes the game better and more enjoyable for all. So I will see you guys on the other side, and I'll see you guys later in the week. Ciao for now.